CHAMPS Game Time Live is delivered by Hungry Howie's Pizza, celebrating 50 years of flavor. State Champs Game Time Live is also brought to you by Lawrence Technological University. Be curious, make magic. The future of education begins at ltu.edu. Alta Equipment, Michigan's #1 construction equipment provider, proudly representing the industry's top brands. Get the right equipment for your project every time with Alta Equipment. The Construction Association of Michigan, the voice of the construction industry in Michigan. U.S. Navy, transform your life and become part of something bigger. Learn more about naval careers at Navy.com. And the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
On the last night of August, I honestly cannot think of a better night for football. There's not a cloud in the sky. It's low 70s with just a little bit of that football chill. Welcome to week 2 of Game Time Live and a great ball game. The always good Lions from South Lyon against the resurgent Corsairs of Waterford Mott High School. Evan Stockton, Grant Perry back with you. Elizabeth Kuhn is alongside in just a second. Before we officially get this thing going, a special thank you, the Waterford Mott coaching staff wants to make sure you know, to Waterford Kettering High School. That's actually where we're playing this game tonight because unfortunately all those really bad storms that we had last week rolled through Waterford Mott's campus and did a number on their football field. So they're going to play the rest of their games here this year at Kettering High School. And also they want to make sure to say thank you to Clarkston High School, who has let Waterford Mott practice on Clarkston's field all week. So now that we've got that out of the way, let's really focus on this ball game. And Grant, in a state absolutely loaded with quarterback talent, tonight you're going to learn a little bit about Caleb Osborne, the quarterback for Mott, who was really remarkable to watch.
Yeah, he is. And I don't want to be cliche, but he puts up video game numbers every day. Last week had 300 yards in the air, 100 yards on the ground. I mean, defenses are only hoping to contain him, right? They're not going to stop him. He's going to get his. And he's got a lot of good athletes on the outside to help him facilitate that offense.
And then on the other side of things, South Lyon in the Lakes Valley Conference, the artist formerly known as the KLAA, they've been really good year after year. They've won 40 ball games since 2018. But Grant, the thing with South Lyon is, coming into this ball game, the coaching staff still doesn't quite know how this season's going to shake out. They're going to be good, but how good will depend on how those young guys develop.
Yeah, and there's a lot of question marks on South Lyon side of the ball there, but they got some guys that are going to play hard today, like Wyatt Douglas, #1, the running back, and #15, the quarterback, Brady Shields. He's inexperienced this year. He's a junior, saw some mop-up time last year, but he's looking to make a really good step this week in week 2 and try to get 2-0, help the South Lyon Lions get 2-0.
Waterford Mott trying to pick up their first win of the year. South Lyon trying to get to 2-0. This will be fun. Get ready for some points. Game Time Live. Week 2, South Lyon and Mott is next.
At Hungry Howie's, we're famous for flavor, and this is our Chief Flavor Officer. Every hour of every day, our CFO obsesses over the tastiest ingredients, combining them to create new flavor combinations your taste buds never knew they needed. Until now. Introducing his latest master pizza, the Bee Sting. Hot honey drizzle, classic cup pepperoni, and spicy jalapenos, or any 2 toppings. And our famous flavored crust. It's all the buzz.
Hungry
Howie's!
From our very first breath, curiosity is why we question everything through barrages of whys and how comes. It now needs the tools to will its vision into existence. Tools that will forever allow curiosity to obscure the line between technology and magic. Be curious. Make magic. Lawrence Technological University.
At Alta Equipment, we know when it comes to getting your job completed on budget and on schedule, uptime matters. Alta Equipment has partnered with the biggest names in construction, including Volvo, Leeboy, Senebogen, Avant, ASV, and more to provide the state of Michigan with industry-leading service and support. Alta Equipment services all makes and models, and their technicians are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Do you have a big project? Alta Rents has you covered with the most diverse rental fleet in Michigan. Give them a call at 844-GO-TO-ALTA today.
Looking for a score, a schedule, a story? MHSAA.com has you covered. Our newly redesigned website has everything you need to follow high school sports in Michigan. And it's optimized for mobile use. Fans can submit scores on a Friday night, check playoff pairings and game times, or read about the student athletes from your community. Your first stop is MHSAA.com. Connect with us online and get everything you need all in one place.
Starting to feel like football season in Michigan. Just ignore the fact it's going to be 95 in a couple of days. Good one coming up from Kettering High School. Waterford Mott against South Lyon. Down to the field we go, and the third member of our crew, Elizabeth Kuhn.
Waterford Mott and South Lyon on a beautiful Thursday night. Thanks so much for joining us today. The last time these two teams matched up, it was just that, a battle. Waterford Mott getting the win, 43-42. They're bringing back quarterback Caleb Osborne. And South Lyon, on the other hand, they graduated a lot of seniors last year. They're bringing in a really young team. Coach Henson said that a lot of these players had their first varsity starts last week, so he's really looking forward to seeing the growth between week 1 and week 2. Guys?
Yeah, Liz, we were talking about that a little bit earlier, right? South Lyon has become one of those programs that's just flat good year after year. They're 40-11 since 2018. But Grant, you know this very well, being part of a program, Brother Rice, that is pretty darn good year after year. And people love to say you don't just rebuild, you reload, but there is weight on the shoulders of the young guys that is hard to get over. Okay, we got to be pretty good pretty fast.
Yeah, and you hit it right on the nose. Guys got to step up quick. One I'm thinking of right off the bat is number 15, Brady Shields. He's got a lot on his plate today, but he was under Tommy Donovan last year, who had a fantastic career at South Lyon, went on to play at Illinois State, Albion. Yep, at Illinois State. I apologize on that one. Yep. And so they got a really good tradition at South Lyon of winning, and they play a hard-nosed type of football. They just want to bully ball. They want to run the clock down, and they want to keep the athletes on the other side of the ball off the field. So I think that's what you're going to see today from South Lyon. They don't have many flashy plays or deep spread-out concepts, but they're going to do their best to eat the time and control the clock.
Now, that's the thing with South Lyon, taking on a Waterford Mott team that was ridiculously good on offense to end last season. In the final month of the season, which included a couple of playoff wins, they scored 50 points per game. And heck, even last week in the Week 1 loss to a really good Walled Lake Western team, Mott scored 27 points while touching the ball 41 times. They ran 41 plays and scored 27 points. So South Lyon is going to have to find a way to keep it away from Mott as much as they can tonight.
Yeah, and that's going to be their game plan, right? Keeping Caleb Osborne and the other athletes, number 24, Javon Barnes, and number 3, Aiden Bowe, and number 7, Donovan Isaac, off the field. Those guys are real explosive playmakers that can take a hitch to the house. They are home run hitters, and South Lyon's got to do their best to keep them off the field and really control this the clock today.
Sinan Benitez, the junior kicker, about to send it away. Yes, he also plays on the soccer team. The coaching staff for Mott was really pleased with the work of Benitez kicking the ball. Feel pretty confident if he's got to get a field goal up in the air at some point tonight. We'll see if that's where the evening takes us. Waterford Mott and the classic look of navy blue with some light blue on the sides and a little bit of white in there as well. South Lyon will be in the whites. Number 4, Ryan Henderson, the deepest man deep for South Lyon, coming off a Week 1 win of their own. Conference win in Week 1 over Walled Lake Northern, 21-13. Off we go on a Thursday night. And a chance for a return for South Lyon. There is room on the left side and across the 35-yard line. This will be good starting field position. Brian Jedrusik, number 11, on the nice return. And here we go, Grant. First shot to see South Lyon's offense led by their big junior quarterback, Brady Shields. He sure looks the part. Number 15 in white is 6'4", 205. But the coaching staff freely admitted after Week 1, there's still some growing pains that Brady's going to have to go through.
Yeah, and those growing pains kind of come in the form of the passing game. He's a little bit inexperienced with throwing down the field, but he runs like a senior, man. He runs and falls forward, runs hard, runs through tackles, and he's a hard guy to bring down.
The back will be Wyatt Douglas, number 1, the 5'10" senior on Brady's right. Jason Petch, the senior, will snap it back. On the ground they go with Douglas. A little bit of room on the left side, and then the Corsairs defense rallies to the football. We can talk about Mott's offense all we want, Grant, but frankly that coaching staff is not focusing on the offense tonight. After Week 1, they will be focusing on a defense that is trying to stop this South Lyon offense.
Yeah, in South Lyon, they're going to run the ball a lot. They're going to do your traditional counters. They're going to get the pulling guards, the pulling tackles, the buck sweeps. They're really going to play old school football with you. So if you're not fundamentally sound on defense and you're not reading your keys and fitting the runs right, you're going to have your hands full.
Mott coaching staff said on defense this week, one focus and one focus only. Be in the right spot defensively before every play. This is the second play for not very much again. Tough sledding for Shields, and a third down is on the way.
Third down here, and it's early in the game, right? So I don't know how deep they're going to go into their playbook. Last week, they threw the ball, a handful of times. I could probably count on my hands how many times they threw it. They stayed ahead of the sticks. Right here, they got some really, really good blockers up front. And number 9, Ben Radley, who's a really big prospect, and he's going to be doing really good things for them today. But look for him to kind of be trying to lead that charge up on the line of scrimmage, and they will split him out here too. They'll go 3 by 1, and he can run really good routes as well and has really good hands. So be aware for him in the run and pass game.
Quick throw to Douglas on third down 6. Got him a little bit of room, but there's a nice open field tackle. Javon Barnes, 24, made the stop. And it's fourth down and short.
Fourth down and short. And if you're South Lyon, I like what they did there. They're throwing it wide. They're trying to get leverage on the outside, trying to get the ball to their playmakers. Number 1, Wyatt Douglas. He's going to have a big day if they want to stay in this one today. But I like their approach there. They're not going to stick to the run every play, which is kind of run. It simulates. Coach said that they want to complement the run with the pass. So good on them for going and stepping outside of the tendency sheet here. But looks like they're going to try to go for it here on fourth and short.
Do they go or do they pooch? The existential question on fourth down and 2. They will go. Shields keeps. He could not make the man miss. Donovan Isaac stayed home, and what a stop to start for Mott.
Great start. And Donovan Isaac stayed home there. It looked like Brady Shields had a chance to really wrap that edge. It was an inside zone read, so he's reading that defensive end. Defensive end dropped down. It went towards for the ball carrier, so Brady Shields had a read right here. You'll see it here. Watch Brady Shields. He's just going to have the snap here. He's in the gun. And then he's going to step it, and he's going to read that defensive end. Watch his eyes, and he sees it. He thinks he can get it. But Donovan Isaac, who's one of their best athletes on defense and offense, a two-way starter for them, says, nope, I'm here on the edge, and comes up with a huge stop. And this is going to help Waterford Mott's momentum here big time.
Like this offense doesn't need any more juice. They're going to start in South Lyon territory at the 45. And here's our first look at Caleb Osborne, a senior quarterback ready to burst on the main stage in the state of Michigan. Running on play 1. Left side, that's a mean stiff arm as he didn't gain much across the 45, but we will see that a lot tonight. Caleb likes to run it and throw it.
Yeah, and they're going to give Caleb the call, 9 times out of 10. He's going to, be accountable for about 75% of their production today. He's their running back. He's their quarterback. And you'll see number 24, Javon Barnes, there in the backfield as well. Number 5 on the edge, the tight end, is going to be one of their big, hard, physical blockers that's leading the way. But look for him, Javon and Caleb, to really get things going here in the run game.
First pass attempt of the night for Osborne. He's got the time, and he overshot his man. A little bit strong for Isaac, who was open.
Yeah, he was open, and that's a matchup that I want to see today, and I think that they're going to try to exploit that. Donovan Isaac has 6'2" height, right? He's a big guy. These South Lyon corners are standing at like 5'9" and 5'6", so he's got a little bit of advantage there, and I think Chris Farr, the head coach for Mott, understands that and is going to try to approach that in that way. I bet Caleb Osgood would like that throw back just a little high. I would like to see him put a little bit more air on that one to give his receiver a chance to run under it. But nonetheless, the look was there, and I guarantee you they'll come back to that at some point today.
You just saw the look at the starters for Mott. One of the question marks on this offense is the line. There are 3 sophomores on the offensive line. Got to hold up here. It's 3rd down 8. Osborne rolling. Avoiding. Moving. Throwing late. Incomplete. It was through a wide open Alexander's hands.
And Alexander, man, he didn't get many catches last week as Donovan Isaac and Javon Barnes and Aiden Bowe kind of took those catches. Right there, that was kind of a scramble drill. As Caleb Osborne's getting approached, he tries to get rid of it. Really good throw there, actually. Hits him right in the hands. That's the play South Lyon wants, right? They want to make Mott live in these 4th and 8, 4th and 10 situations. So this is where South Lyon really is emphasized this week. We got to get off the field.
4th down 8. South Lyon just went for it on 4th down and missed. Theirs was 4th and 2. Mott's is 4th down and a lot longer. Osborne catches with one hand. Given time, high. Missed Isaac again. And Mott turns it over on downs.
Yeah, and just a little high there as well. Touches the fingertips of the receiver, Donovan Isaac. He's a 6'2" quarterback, so if he's reaching high for that, that's probably a high ball. But it's the first drive, right? You got the pregame jitters. You want to get out there and get a couple completions. And he misses a few throws there in the first drive that I bet he would like back. But nonetheless, they're just going to have to play some hard defense here and try to get the ball back from South Lyon.
So here come the Lions onto the field. Yes, it is not lost on us that South Lyon's nickname is the Lions. I honestly appreciate it. It's the symmetry that we enjoy.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. There's the South Lyon Lions. It's not a bad ring to it.
And when you're going 40-11 since 2018, you can call yourself whatever the heck you want. Quick little pitch to Capaccioni. On the left side, Enzo's got a lot of room. That is the best play of the ball game for South Lyon. An excellent gain, and they're moving the sticks right away.
Really big play there, and that's something that showed up last week when they played Wall Lake Northern. They got these receivers that they'll put on the edge, right? And as soon as the ball's hiked, they're going to have that guy go in motion and get a running start, while the defense trying to adjust on the fly. It gives the receivers an opportunity to really gain the edge there, and you want your best ball carriers with the ball in their hand, right? And Capaccioni has a really good sense of direction, and he can really fly. So good play call there, and they're getting their sticks moving here, man, and this is what South Lyon does best.
First time today they're in Mott territory. Running left side again. There is room again. That is another first down. Ryan Henderson attacking the edge this time.
If it's not broke, don't fix it, right? So if it's there, take it. And they just get another guy involved. Another guy you're going to hear a lot tonight is Ryan Henderson. He's a really skilled receiver. He's a two-way starter for them, also plays safety. And he's a guy that can fly as well. He's a guy that the coaches are going to count on today to make those big plays, right? Those plays that you don't necessarily remember, in the news, but those plays that move the chains and keep the game going and keep your team in it. So they're going to look to get those receivers involved any way they can, and they're going to do that off the wings with those reverses and those pitches. So they do a good job of that. And now when they go spread here, they like to get the quarterback involved in the run, so I wouldn't be surprised if they try to do something with him.
Swing pass, Douglas again. They've tried that play a couple of times. It's not working because Donovan Isaac is just staying home.
Yeah, Donovan Isaac is playing good ball, and that's a guy that when talking to Coach Farr, the head coach for Waterford Mott this week, we asked him, hey, who's a guy that you really trust out there in coverage? You know, who's a guy that you would put on an island and you would close your eyes and you would just know that he's doing his job? And he said Donovan Isaac. So it's showing up early, and also another thing that's showing up is South Lyons. They're throwing the ball, man. They got three throws here early on, and I think last week they accounted for about 5 or 6 throws altogether. So they're stepping outside the tendency box, right? They're not trying to be predictable, and they're going to try to get Waterford Mott on their toes and try to have them guessing.
Second down, 10. Henderson left side again. A whole lot of green turf. Pushed out of bounds inside the 10. Ryan Henderson, his second excellent gain on what's turning into an excellent drive for the Lions.
And you're just going to see the same play. They've ran this twice, right? They got Ryan Henderson in motion behind Brady Shields, the quarterback, and the quarterback's just going to give him a little pitch, right? And Ryan Henderson's already got the edge. Great block here by number 9, Ben Radley. He's doing a great job sealing the edge on number 4, the cornerback. And then number 4 for South Lyon just does the rest of the work, following his blockers. And don't forget, if you block, you get the ball, right? Number 14 does a great job downfield there for South Lyon. He's a guy that shows up on tape that just hustles hard, and that play is predicated on just South Lyon football, right? Everyone's doing their job, everyone's moving, and that's a big gain there, and they're pushing here for in the red zone now.
So now as Mott calls their first time out of the half, what I'm sitting here wondering, Grant, is after Mott looked so good on the first drive, what's changed here? Second drive, how's South Lyon moving the ball?
There's something going on with that left side of the field. They got a mismatch over there, I think, and it has something to do with Ben Radley. Ben Radley's really doing a good job. He's one of their more physical blockers, another two-way player for them, one of their captains, number 9. He does a really good job of sealing the edge there. And, when you get a cornerback, number 4 there, Ryan, Minaj, it's tough. Tough when you got a tight end, D end coming up at you. It's tough to, get that guy off you. So they're doing a good job here. And I'd expect them to run to the field here towards Ben Radley again.
Try in the middle with Douglas, and a nice open field tackle by number 4 in blue, Mayanja. The big middle linebacker, Mike Bolin, was in there as well.
Yeah, and this is an area of the field where South Lyon had a little bit of issue last year. And that was, that showed up on tape. They had some trouble in the red zone, a couple turnovers, and they couldn't put the ball in the end zone. So let's see if they're going to dial up something new here to try to, get them in the end zone and get them 6 points right off the bat.
It is second down goal to go, by the way. South Lyon in the unenviable position of having a first and goal from essentially the 10. Here's second and goal from the 9. Shields, fade, corner, knocked away. Aiden Bowe with the swat.
Pass incomplete, intended for number 14, Brady Meyer, broken up by number 3, Aiden Bowe.
Really good play here by Aiden Bowe, number 3. You're going to see him. He's out here on an island. He usually is the safety guy, but maybe they're doing a little bit things different here. He's doing a good job of pushing that receiver to the sideline, right? Cutting off the room to work, and does a good job getting his eyes back and getting a hand on the ball. Almost comes down 1-1 there. And he's another player. I keep calling out these two-way players. He's another player that has a great day offensively and defensively. Had a great day offensively and defensively last week versus Lake Western.
Big swing play here early. Third down goal. Shields setting up a middle screen. What a perfect call. It is Ben Radley in. Already his second touchdown of the season.
I'm just scheming the defense, right? You send everyone right. You got your main running back, your workhorse, Wyatt Douglas going right. You know what? The quarterback there, number 15, Brady Shields, does a great job of just taking the time, letting the defense come to him. And Ben Radley's a guy that's going to have a lot of attention on him in the red zone. He showed up last week. He caught a dump pass from the 4-yard line for a touchdown last week. A really good scheme there. They run a tight end screen away from the play, let him slide down the line of scrimmage. So really good play there by South Lyon. Good call and way to get everyone on Mott's defense running away from the play and going back to the left to Ben Radley for the touchdown there. Really fantastic job.
Like Radley hasn't done enough on the drive, he's also going to be the long snapper here. as Johnny Michaels tries to add the PAT. And that kick is good. Sometimes, Grant, you just got to feed the big man. Ben Radley was doing all the blocking on the drive, and how do they reward him? Walk-in touchdown on 3rd down and goal.
Yeah, if you block out there, you get rewarded. And Ben Radley's he's a great blocker, and he is a really good red zone threat as well. So he's a guy that they count on not only in the field to play on the run plays, but hey, in the red zone, if we need your help, big man. And they do a great job there at getting him open, scheming him open, and they do a fantastic job of taking the lead early. Right, they're playing into their hands. They want to get the lead so they can just run that clock, and they're doing a fantastic job of that so far.
Friendly reminder for you, Hungry Howie's a great partner of the State Champs Network's Mr. Football and Anvil Awards. Congratulations, Hungry Howie's, on 50 years of the best flavored crust pizza. Take it from me, it's amazing. Order your pizza at hungryhowies.com. You know, if I keep saying all these nice things about Hungry Howie's, at what point do they send me a nice little care package?
I wouldn't mind a slice of pizza right now at all. That sounds pretty good.
You know, I'm really only doing this, Grant, for the free favors, the free stuff. I mean, why does anyone get into broadcasting except for the free stuff? Mr. Everything, Ben Radley, who just scored the touchdown and long snapped the extra point, will now kick it away. Ben is not small. He's 6'4", 240. Smart guy in the classroom. He's got a 3.4 GPA. And now 2 touchdowns caught this season after he caught 3 all of last season. His kick is angled and short. That is I tried to signal fair catch. Ends up being a good decision that it wasn't a fair catch. And this ends up being a good return for Mott if they don't end up bringing the return back. So Isaac waved fair catch, and then he caught the ball and stood there saying, I called fair catch. And I think I heard a whistle during that return, Grant, so we're going to check this. You know, I would hope for Donovan's sake he doesn't get penalized for returning when he called a fair catch, because he was trying not to return the ball. But when you call fair catch and then try to signal, hey, I called fair catch, and guys are running at you, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah, and not stand there and take the hit, that's for sure. He did, wave the hand for a fair catch, after he caught it. I don't know if the refs caught him, waving that hand, but, we saw it up here. And then, as anyone would do, if someone's running at you, get out of the way. Starts running, actually made it a good return, but Mott's offense is moving back here a little bit. I think they're going to, we'll see what they say, but it looks like they might be back near where he caught the fair catch.
Our officiating crew on this Thursday night trying to get all the T's crossed and the I's dotted here. All right, so they get it all figured out, and unfortunately here for Mott, they are going to back him up inside the 20, so a tough break.
Yeah, and maybe the refs saw something we didn't, but tough break for Waterford Mott. But they got to put a drive together here. If they don't want to fall into South Lyon's trap, they got to start moving that ball. They got to start threatening them deep, start threatening them with the legs of Caleb Osborne if they want to get South Lyon out of their comfort zone.
Drive 2 for Caleb after a couple of incompletions on drive number 1. Quick drop. Osborne given all the time in the world. And this time he connects with Isaac. Good looking throw for a first down.
Fantastic throw. And they're running 3 guys deep, which means they're blocking 8. And that's because South Lyon has a really good pass rush. They do some fantastic things up front with their D-line and their linebackers. They're a very high-pressure team. So Waterford Mott understands that and is running concepts to get guys open. They do a little switch release curl right. You sell the DB deep, and then you break it down. A good connection there from Osborne to Donovan Isaac.
Up the middle. Great run for Javon Barnes, who lowered his shoulder into Henderson. That is a 5'8", 165-pound running back, bringing the boom for another first down.
Yeah, 5'8", 160, but he runs like he's 6 feet, 200 pounds. I mean, he's got a heavy heart. He's got thick legs, and he runs fast, man. He's a really good ball carrier for them, and he's got home run speed, too. Anytime he touches the ball, he could take it 15, 20, 30 yards downfield.
Mott starting to move. Swing pass, far side. Couple of missed tackles. And finally, escorted to the ground, Aiden Bowe, thrown all the way backward by Jedrusik. And they will bring it back to where forward progress was. That's maybe a gain of a yard.
Yeah, and gain of a yard. It could have been a few more yards. I think a little bit of a higher throw, getting the receiver in stride would have helped them a little bit there. But nonetheless, when you're a receiver and you catch the ball in space, you got to get north and south and make the first guy miss. Aiden Bowe does a good job trying to get to the edge, but then that South Lyon defense just swarms them there, and they do a fantastic job of making this a 2nd and 9.
Barnes will join Osborne again in the gun. Osborne running. Caleb with room. Caleb Osborne, first down and more. Look at him hit the turbo. Down the right sideline. He is still running. Caleb Osborne sometimes looks like he's playing in a video game all by himself.
And they just do old school football here. They're going to take it's going to be a counter. They're going to have 2 pullers from the backside with a lead running back as their blocker, number 24, Javon Barnes. And then they just let Caleb Osborne do the rest of the work. I mean, just missed tackle after missed tackle. Hey, but don't get me wrong, folks. This guy's 6'4", 205 pounds. That's not an easy guy to tackle. And he just makes it look easy in the last 10 yards there, doesn't he?
He is dancing down that sideline and making South Lyon defenders run into each other as he runs the rest of the way for yet another touchdown. Last year he ran for 31. Adds one tonight. Blink your eyes and this ball game's tied.
Yeah, and this is something that South Lyon, talking with Coach Jeff Henson, they said that that's the hardest thing preparing for Waterford Mott is you can't emulate Caleb Osborne in any practice, in any situation. You can line up and try to understand what formations they're in and understand what concepts and what schemes that they run, but you can't emulate the athletes that Waterford Mott has, and it just shows there.
Alta Equipment knows that when it comes to getting your job completed on budget and on schedule, uptime matters. Alta Equipment partners with the biggest names in construction with industry-leading service and support. Make sure you can give them a call at 844-GO-TO-ALTA. Thinking about that run, Grant, you made such a great point, right? It's the size for Caleb. At 6'4", 200. There are not many high school athletes that big, so fast, so shifty. Toledo Rockets are getting a pretty darn good one.
Yeah, they are. And they're getting a guy that they're probably thankful that's been flying under the radar. I mean, like you said, statistic-wise, was counted for over 50 touchdowns last year, for well over 3,000 total, all-purpose yards. I mean, the kid is a gamer, a game changer, and a game breaker. He's a good special talent, and they're going to utilize him anytime they can, and I wouldn't be surprised if they come back to that next drive they get.
Benitez to kick it for Mott with Henderson back deep. This will be a South Lyon return. Far side of the field, a little bit of room across the 25-yard line and shackled shy of the 30. Pretty good starting field position for the Lions. Capacchione on the return for South Lyon. So, Grant, we saw South Lyon on the last drive really attacking left side of the field. A lot of blocks from Radley. They finish it off with a touchdown to Radley. What's the counter defensively for Mott potentially here?
South Lyon likes to go unbalanced. They're going to try to get numbers in the run game. You got to just try to stay assignment sound, try to fit your gaps, fit your run fits, and stick with your man, right? That touchdown to Ben Radley last drive they were in man coverage, and the guy lost his man running across the field. So just stay assignment sound here, and you'll have a good chance.
And we get a whistle. That is going to back South Lyon up. Make it a first down and 15 coming for South Lyon. Every high school sporting event in our great state of Michigan has one thing in common, the officials. And officials are needed right now more than ever. Go to MHSA.com for a little bit more info because without officials, it's just practice. Also, friendly reminder, please be nice to those officials. Take it from me, alum of Commerce Little League. Being an umpire is a lot tougher than you think. I'm just saying. Shields running all the way left. Got a good chunk of the yards back. He's back across the original line of scrimmage and up near the 30. Pretty nice gain on first down.
Yeah, really nice gain, and they're going to rely on these guys to make these plays for him. Number 15, Brady Shields. Talking to Coach Henson this week, he said that Brady gets a lot of confidence when he runs the ball. Right, sometimes you got to take that first hit, you got to take that big hit to get rid of the butterflies, and they're going to incorporate him more and more throughout this game. And I just saw a little bit of adjustment there from Mott. They walked their safety up on the line of scrimmage, trying to add another element to that left side that South Lyon is attacking so well.
They shift that tight end Radley to the right side. Maybe that's a clue of where they're going. Yep, they're running that way. And another good gain for South Lyon. First carry of the ball game for number 23 in white. Fredericks on the carry. I think that's going to be a clue rest of the night. Where's Radley? That's where they're going.
Yep, he's going to be leading the charge there at blocking wise. I haven't seen them hand the ball off to him. I think maybe in the red zone area they might decide to do that, but right now he's in the middle of the field. He's going to be your lead blocker. You know, he's a good key to key on, and he's going to probably be where the action's at. Right, you don't want to take one of your best players and put him away from the play unless he's used for a decoy. But good play there. It's a 3rd and 4 here. I'd expect him to get some type of counter power, to get a lot of guys at the point of attack, trying to move that pile and make it a short down and distance here on the next drive.
Fredericks again. This time it is blown up in the backfield. Javon Barnes. Hello. And here comes a flag. The end of that play, there was a little pushing and a little shoving. We'll get the call. Ends up not biting Mott on the backside, and now, Grant, we can truly focus on what was just a great play for the two-way guy, Barnes.
Yeah, Barnes, and he's a smaller guy like we said earlier, but he plays that linebacker position. They'll put him at that Sam linebacker, sometimes that Will linebacker, the weak side, but he plays like a grown man. He hits hard, he runs through the ball carrier, he wraps up when he tackles, and he does a really good job, too, of also helping the other linebackers. When a lead blocker is coming, he does a good job of forcing it to the other linebackers, Isaiah Veach and Mike Bolin. Those are two other guys there in the middle playing linebacker number 5 and 12 that you'll hear from, hear their name again today as well.
Low snap. South Lyon gets the punt away. This will bound at the 50. Keep on rolling. And all things considered, South Lyon does a darn good job of flipping field position as best they can. That's a punt from the goal line down to the 36.
And that's what it's going to take. If you get pushed back in your own area, you got to have an answer to get it out of there. And that's a really good punt. Almost turned into a bad play, but the punter did a fantastic job of not making a bad play worse and getting rid of that thing and really flipping the field here and giving the South Lyon Lions a chance to hold the Waterford Mott here again.
Drive number 3 for the Corsairs of Waterford Mott. And drive number 3 for Caleb Osborne, who on the last drive ran for a long touchdown down the right sidelines where he broke about 7 different tackles. A lot of quarterbacks darn good at the high school level in Michigan, but you can't sleep on this guy. Osborne throwing again. That play was read right away. Catch is made by Isaac, but Tyler Wallets was ready as soon as that pass was thrown.
And really good job there. And I don't know if they can check out of things, but that cornerback right at the snap of the ball, Tyler Wallets comes up to the line of scrimmage and starts pressing Donovan Isaac. Aiden Bowe, number 3, the slot receiver there, has to really take a flat line to go cut that guy off and block him. Aiden Bowe's a little late to the play, number 3 for the block, and then great play by Tyler Wallets to tackle him for a loss and make this a second and long here.
All the way back near the 30. Osborne running. This was a good recipe last time. This time, not as much. Got what he could as he lowered his shoulder and got across the 30. This is going to be a 3rd down and a mile coming for Mott.
Yeah, and this is really good for South Lyon here. They want to live in these 3rd down in longs and try to make Mott earn it. Coach Henson said this week that we really got to get off the field on 3rd down. We can't allow Caleb Osgood to beat us with his legs. And really, when a quarterback or any player picks up a 3rd down and long, it really hurts your defense, right? And it's a kind of a backbreaker. So we'll see what they come out here with in the second quarter, but really, really fun first quarter here.
Good one, Bruin. Mott and South Lyon knotted up at 7 after 12 minutes of football. The second quarter starts right after this.
At Hungry Howie's, we're famous for flavor, and this is our Chief Flavor Officer. Every hour of every day, our CFO obsesses over the tastiest ingredients, combining them to create new flavor combinations your taste buds never knew they needed. Until now. Introducing his latest master pizza, the Bee Sting. Hot honey drizzle, classic cut pepperoni, and spicy jalapenos, or any 2 toppings. And our famous flavored crust. It's all the buzz.
Hungry
Howie's! I said I'd never join.
Then I wouldn't get to work on one of these!
Never knew how strong I was.
I figured I'd never get out of my hometown.
Or be the one who stops an attack. Joining the Navy sounds crazy. Saying never actually is.
At Alto Equipment, we know when it comes to getting your job completed on budget and on schedule, uptime matters. Alto Equipment has partnered with the biggest names in construction, including Volvo, Lieboy, Senebogen, Avant, ASV, and more to provide the state of Michigan with industry-leading service and support. Alto Equipment services all makes and models, and their technicians are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Do you have a big project? Alta Rents has you covered with the most diverse rental fleet in Michigan. Give them a call at 844-GO-TO-ALTA today.
Back to football here at Kettering High. Start of the second quarter. We got a good ball game brewing here. South Lyon and Mott have each scored once. And Waterford Mott staring down a 3rd down and long as we start quarter number 2.
If I'm Waterford Mott here, I got 2 of my best athletes in the boundary here with low-hanging safeties. I try to get one to one of these guys here at the bottom of the screen.
Osborne looking that way, but it's knocked away. Ryan Henderson, the active hands, and it's going to be 4th down.
Broken up by number 4, Ryan Henderson. Brings up 4th down.
A couple of times tonight, Graham, we have tried to see Osborne trying to squeeze one in there, but that's good defense from South Lyon.
That's fantastic defense. The corner just sinks with the both of the receivers running. He's playing the middle of 2. Gets a hand on the ball, and that's where a little bit of coaching, a little bit of extra work comes into play, where you can just kind of manipulate that throw, put it over the cornerback's head. But nonetheless, great stop there by South Lyon, and they're going to get the ball back here.
Osborne, the punter, swings the right leg. It is dropped by Henderson. That football is loose. That is Mott football. Nick Thigpen falls on the pigskin.
And Caleb Osborne just shoots a line drive out here. It's coming down with a lot of speed. The punt returner, Ryan Henderson, is trying to catch it in stride. And sometimes when you do that, you take your eyes off the ball and you're worried about who's coming, who's near you. And he just takes his eyes off the ball and doesn't run through it fully. And that's a huge, huge play there for Waterford Mott. A long 4th down that you don't get, but you punt the ball and you get the ball back with better field position. That'll work out for him.
It's like they just gained 25 yards on a pass.
Mm-hmm. And who knew he could throw it with his leg?
It was a line drive, as Grant said. Feel bad for Henderson. Trying to do the right thing, catch that thing on the run, but then it hits your face mask and you go, oh boy.
Yeah, and it's tough, right? And then he does the right thing there. You're taught to come up and try to catch the ball and save your offense as much yards as you can. Because when you let that thing bounce there, then you're pushing yourself back into your own territory, and then your play call your sheet is not as big, and you can't run with exactly what you're on a run there. So just a mental error there by number 4, Ryan Henderson. And let's see if Waterford Mott can capitalize off this. South Lyon didn't have too many turnovers last week. They played pretty fundamentally sound football, and I'm really interested to see what Mott can do here after a sudden change. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to take a shot, because after sudden changes, offenses love to try to throw up a deep ball or one of their special plays here. So look out for a big play here by Waterford Mott.
So after the timeout, both sides back in the field. A sudden change gives Waterford Mott the football right back in South Lyon territory. Osborne running. Up the middle, across the 40, and falling down with a good gain on first down. We got to go down to the field. And the third member for our crew, Elizabeth Kuhn.
Earlier this week, Coach Farr reminded us just how powerful the game of football is. 2 years ago, the same day as the regional semifinals, Coach Farr and his wife lost their child. This past year, Coach Farr missed his first practice in over 20 years. Why? He was welcoming his newborn son. He said the next day at their game, Caleb put his arm around him and said, "Coach, I got you," and went out and scored 9 touchdowns. Coach Farr said God was there that day, and there's no other way to make this all make sense. Guys?
Right on cue, Osborne going deep. He just missed Isaac in between a couple of bodies. He nearly put that thing right on the money.
Yeah, he almost did there, and really, really tight throw. It's one high coverage, so that means there's one safety back in the middle of the field. They're playing a cover 3 type look, and that's not necessarily the right read, right? Running a post to a middle of the field close, that's a tough throw, and there it was a tight window. He almost fits it in there. He's got a great athlete in Donovan Isaac that can go hunt those balls down, but he's got to watch out here. That's 2 tipped balls here in the last 2 drives. I'd be careful if I was him. I'd try to check it down and let the playmakers, run with their feet, and then let the long plays develop.
So now a challenge for Mott. 3rd down at the 38. Osborne keeping. Caleb Osborne running and spinning and leaning. Awfully close to another first down. Graham, when do you think the last time was that Caleb Osborne was brought down on first contact?
No, that's a good question. I didn't do quite that much film study, but
you weren't going back to the 3rd grade?
No, I didn't count every tackle throughout his whole life, but I'm pretty sure it's been a while since someone's brought him down solo. But just touching back on that last play there, and that's a little bit of an inside read, right? He's just reading the defensive end on the left side of the field, and that's going to be a big play for them. These South Lyon defensive ends are going to be tested today, and right there he had a keep read, which means that defensive end snuck down the line of scrimmage, and he keeps it and takes it. Sets up a first down. That's a good play by him. Way to come back after that incomplete pass on that last play.
Fielding the snap here. Pumping. Moving. Shaking. Breaking tackles. Caleb Osborne is a magician sometimes. Another solid game.
Great gain there. And a lot of maturity in that play right there. He gets the same exact look. He's got a guy running down the seam of the field, and he's got a 1 high safety. He doesn't force it. He doesn't try to make a throw that it would be an unreal catch. He says, you know what, I can do this with my feet, and that's what he's going to do today. And I really like that decision there. He eats the throw and makes it a 2nd and 2 with his feet. Fantastic job there.
Remember, Osborne last year ran for 31 touchdowns. He gives it here to Barnes. Great game for Javon Barnes. He's inside the red zone of South Lyon up to the 15. That's another first down.
And they're moving the ball here. And when Waterford Mott gets into this red area, don't be surprised if Caleb Osborne keeps the ball every time. I mean, he's just such a threat here in the red zone and does a fantastic job for them.
They'll try Barnes again. Handful of yards for Javon again. Gain of about 4 on first down.
51, Josh Basic.
Last week, Javon Barnes only carried the ball 3 times. That right there was his 3rd carry of the night. Coaching staff calls Javon a Swiss Army knife. Does a little bit of everything. A Swiss Army knife that stirs the pot. Osborne running this time. Patient run to the right. Lowering his shoulder. Powering near the goal line. He is not in, but Mott's on the doorstep. First down and goal.
Just touching back on what we said, it's hard. It's a hard job to ask anyone to tackle him, but let alone when you get him on the edge and you got smaller cornerbacks and smaller safety builds. I mean, Caleb Osborne is a big guy, and he's not running to get out of bounds or to go down or slide. He's trying to put you on the dirt, and he's going to try to truck you if he can.
Already 1 touchdown tonight on the ground for Caleb. Is number 2 on the way? Not yet, because Mott just called their 2nd timeout of the first half.
Timeout, Mott. It's number 2.
So while Mott takes that timeout, that gives us a chance to let you know that, are you considering the U.S. Navy as enlisted or as an officer? You can learn more about the American Navy and career opportunities within the U.S. Armed Forces by contacting your local U.S. Navy recruiting office at 734-679-1998. Mott's rocking those decals that sometimes sneak up on you. They do have the interlocking WM, but it is in Navy on a Navy helmet. When did that become a thing? I think it was when Oregon started doing stuff like that.
Yeah, that very well could be the case there. And it slipped me. I didn't even see it there, so I appreciate you calling that out.
You know, every once in a while, Grant, I just have to try to look good, you know? Just a couple of times a broadcast.
Oh, don't sell yourself short. You look good all the time, brother.
You know, I'm glad I slipped you that 10 before in the show, you know? It's nice to have a hype man. Grant may not be Flava Flav, but he comes close, you know? No giant clock. All right, here's first and goal from the 1. Caleb Osborne lowered his shoulder. He got in again. Touchdown number 2 tonight for the super senior Caleb Osborne.
QB lead. I mean, you got your best player here. Just give him the ball, right? It's just going to be who wants it more. The Waterford Mott O-line does a fantastic job of pancaking those D linemen. And then it's essentially, hey, what hole am I going to choose? And he walks in there, makes it look easy. Caleb Osborne, 2 touchdowns so far, and I wouldn't expect that to be the last one.
I mean, look at him on the sidelines. Not too high, not too low. He's like a pitcher in the midst of a gem. Get back to the dugout. Let's get back to business. And the extra point up and good. Largest lead of the night for Mott.
Cool, calm, collected. That's what you want your quarterback to be. And speaking with the coach, Coach Farr, the head coach of Waterford Mott, he just re-emphasized how humble of a guy he is, right? He usually takes the blame for other players, and then come game time, he flips a switch and just says, you know what, I'm going to take over today. But, you know, he's a really fantastic player, really fun watching his film, and everything that I saw in film last year in week 1 versus Walled Lake Western is showing up today, and South Lyon's going to have to answer that bell.
So now the Lions are trailing for the first time tonight. South Lyon actually took the lead on a short touchdown pass to Ben Radley on a 3rd down and goal in the first quarter. But now Mott scored the last 2 touchdowns. And Grant, after their first drive, did not end in a touchdown. You can see that offensive machine powered by Caleb Osborne really starting to crank into gear here. You know South Lyon doesn't want to get too far down.
No, and with Waterford Mott, it may have taken a drive or two to kind of, you know, understand what South Lyon is trying to accomplish on defense, right? You know, teams don't always come out in the same looks that they do as previous games or previous years. So, you know, they got to find ways to try to game plan Caleb Osborne. So maybe it only took 2 drives for Waterford Mott to kind of figure out their plan of attack. And so far right now, they're rolling with it, and it's looking good. They're up 7 here in the second.
Another chance for a return for Enzo Capacchione. And he is wrestled down right at the 25-yard line. Nice tackle on special teams by Hayden Frantum, number 15. For the Corsairs, you always got to give a little love to the special teamers working just as hard out there as everybody else.
Yeah, and special teams, it's something that gets overlooked. You know, I like to ask these coaches each week, hey, who's your best special teams player? You know, who shows up when no one's really watching and not paying attention? So kudos to them playing good special teams. And when you get to that next level and then that next level, the NFL, that's what helps you make teams, the special teams aspect. So and don't forget special teams and players. They need love too.
I mean, Matthew Slater for the New England Patriots literally made a living out of being good at special teams.
You know, that was all he was known for. A really good athlete, really good player, but I mean, he was the special teams king in New England. Fun to watch him.
Brady Shields in the offense for South Lyon back on that field. Long way to go. Rolling the quarterback to the right. Shields, an elongated run to the right side, got what he could, slammed out of bounds near the boundary. They're hitting hard over there. Mike Bolin seems like he's in on every play.
Mike Bolin, he is a fierce guy, man. He's something that really they count on defense to be there and run sideline to sideline like he did there. Him and number 12, Isaiah Veach, are going to be the 2 featured, hard-hitting, hard-tackling guys that they got to get around. South Lyon, that is. and they do a good job there. South Lyon, tries to mirror that concept where they, first quarter they gave the receivers the pitch on those, those receiver motions, orbit motions behind the quarterback. That time they used that motion to get the receiver as a lead blocker, and then Waterford Mott's just all over it there. So I want to see South Lyon try to get north and south here, right? Try to get upfield and try not to run as lateral here.
On second down, they keep it on the ground with Fredericks. There is just not a lot of real estate right now. Maybe a gain of 2, but again, another third down and long for South Lyon.
Yeah, and it's putting them in a spot they don't want to be in. I mean, they got a quarterback that's a junior that had some time last year, but not a lot. Didn't throw it as much as the former quarterback did last year for Kasi. So look for them to try to find ways to get him on the move, maybe outside the pocket for a boot pass, or so if it's not there, he can just keep it and run it. Just plays that makes him play fast and it helps him understand what's going on.
Coming up on 4 minutes into the second quarter. And a third down and long for South Lyon. Shields dropping back. He's got the time. Zipping it over the middle. That pass is caught. Jedrusik on the slant. Shields put it right on the numbers.
I'm going to eat my words there. That was a beautiful throw. I mean, that looked like an experienced player making a throw there. He just steps back, takes a 3-step drop, just running a 10-yard in. We call that a basic route. And he just does a fantastic job of hitting his receiver in stride. And then one guy makes that tackle. If he misses that tackle, Jed Rusik's running down the sideline, circling the defense there. So really good play and huge conversion for South Lyon as they need a little bit of confidence here moving these chains.
Remember, the quarterback Shields, the junior, a first-year starter. Did play a little bit last year, but he was not the every-night starter for South Lyon. Still getting acclimated out there. Fredericks again. He is swallowed. A tag team making the tackle. Isaiah Veach helped to clean it up. Brandon Mayanja in on the tackle as well, number 4.
Really good job by Veach, and he's a linebacker that is really gritty. He's playing with no gloves, old school style. As you'll see here, 23 is just trying to find an alley, but number 12 says, know what, I'm going to wrap you up, and I'm going to take you down, buddy. So that's a really good job there by Isaiah Veach, filling the gaps, and that's something that South Lyon had issues with last week. It's really fast, active linebackers. So Waterford Mott's got to step up to the challenge here and get those guys going, get those guys tackled. So really good play there by the Mott defense.
Shields quick throw. Fredericks the catch. Bounced off a blocker. Dove across the 45. He's up to around the 47 or 48. Pretty good gain on second down, and it makes the third down more manageable for South Lyon.
And absolutely. And even if you get 1 yard or 2 yards here, it's not out of South Lyon's comfort zone to go for it, on fourth down. So maybe the OC for South Lyon's thinking, hey, let's get 3 to 4 yards here. We don't have to pick it up necessarily. Let's maybe cross the 50-yard line, and then let's consider our options there. But really good play on second down. We've seen that screen to those receivers a lot today. We're going to see it more often. It's a really good play just to get your guys flanked outside the defense and give those guys an opportunity to get a head start and really just try to make something happen on the edge.
South Lyon has already converted a 3rd and 8 on this drive. This is a 3rd down and 6. Play action for Shields. Wobbly ball over the middle. It is still caught. Sneaking into the middle of the field, it's Johnny Michaels, the kicker, who makes the catch. And South Lyon converts again.
They're converting, and they do a fantastic job here. They're just going to do a little run action. Brady Shields drops back, understands that he's got to get rid of the ball at a fast rate. Johnny Michaels, the guy that just went in motion, just kind of sneaks there, and it's a run action. So the linebackers step up. They lose sight of what they're supposed to do, and Johnny Michaels, by the way, I got to mention, I love Johnny Michaels' name. I feel like that's a rock star. That's a rock star name. But really, that's a rock star catch to move those chains right there by Johnny Michaels.
Johnny Michaels feels like he should have been in that Amazon show, Daisy Jones and the Six. If you haven't watched it, it's just okay. I enjoyed it, though. Shields pump faking. He wants to take a shot. Down the field. That pass is tipped and nearly picked. Nice recovery speed for Donovan Isaac.
And really, Donovan Isaac is out there. You got to be careful where you throw it. He's a receiver playing cornerback, so he's got a little bit of a sense of when that ball's coming and how to high point it. Right there, Brady Shields is a runner too, so I'd like to see him, hey, maybe it's not there. Pull a Caleb Osborne. Run it with your feet. Get a few yards there. It's first down. Maybe not the best throw, but, he wanted to give his receiver a chance, and I can't blame him. But, thankfully, Donovan Isaac misses it, and they keep the ball here, and they're still driving.
Brady had just converted the last couple of third downs, kind of like a guy who thinks he's hot from three. Sometimes you got to get a heat check. Let's see where they go on second down. The motion Capacchione to the right side. Run it on the left side. And they got a lot of real estate. This is Fredericks barreling ahead. Another South Lyon first down right near the 20 of Waterford Mott.
And South Lyon, they're going to put together these long drives. They're going to sustain these drives, and they're just going to do a good job of getting the ball here. It's just a little buck sweep, right? They're going to have both guards pulling at the point of attack. Really good kick-out block there by the lineman, and then the running back does the rest of the work. Number 23 has a fantastic cut getting upfield and really pushing the pace here. And that's a question coming in today. How is Waterford Mott's D-line going to handle this aggressive run attack? And right now, South Lyon's kind of got an answer on this drive. And they're going 4 strong here into the boundary. I wouldn't be surprised if they get a run action down there.
That's exactly where they're going. They got a lot of real estate again. Fredericks lowering the boom again, down near the 5. Grant's calling it out, and South Lyon keeps running the plays that are working.
Yeah, and sometimes you can line up in a formation that you've only ran a few plays in and say, hey, you know what, we're going to tell you what's coming, right, just by the formation. Go ahead and stop us. And that's a really hard play to stop. They put all the strength into the boundary. Ben Radley, the receivers in the boundary, just trying to get blocks on guys. And they do a fantastic job of creating a numbers advantage there that Mott hasn't seemed to pick up on yet.
This is a first down and goal as they try to tie it up again. Running left all the way. Can Shields get to the goal line? Not that time. Mott rallies to the ball, and Brady barely gained anything.
They just tried to go back to the quads look there. They just wanted to get a different runner involved there. Quads to the boundary. They're going to get their quarterback involved on a little Q run. And I do like the way Brady runs. He's pretty patient. He tries to let his blocks develop. And when you get into the red area, you kind of have to. If it's not there, kind of decipher off the runners. But Waterford Mott does a good job there of containing them. And South Lyon had some issues, like I said, last week in the red area. So I want to see if they kind of try to change it up and try to do some things differently this week to give them a little bit more of an advantage down there and put some more points on the board that they feel like they left off last week.
Here comes a second down and goal. That ball's still at the 5. They motion Radley. Run it in his direction. And once again, Mott ready. Not much at all for Brady Shields. And it's going to be third down and goal.
Third down and goal. Who scored the last touchdown for South Lyon? Ben Radley. I think if I'm Waterford Mott's defensive coordinator, I'm keying on him. And not necessarily in the run game. I want to be careful, right? I want to tell my defense, hey, read your keys, read your assignment. Understand that if you're in man coverage, don't get your eyes lost in the backfield. Stick on your defender or your receiver, and don't let them throw something behind us with a little bit of a delayed dump pass or some type of, Tim Tebow-esque, run up to the line of scrimmage and just dump it right behind their heads. Don't let that happen, right? Stay fundamentally sound and make it a fourth down and goal.
Where do they go on this third down and goal? They go with the run, cutting it up. Fredericks lowering the shoulder and leaning, but he did not get in. He is short. Fourth down and goal. It is hard to get closer to being a touchdown than it actually is. Mott will burn a timeout. By the way, they do have 2 left. Probably trying to save Osborne a little bit of time whenever they do get the ball back. Man, we got a monster play coming up here in a second. The Construction Association of Michigan provides a vast resource array of services, information, and training to our diverse membership within Michigan's construction industry. Go to buildwithcam.com for a little bit more information. All right, Grant, if you're South Lyon, What are you doing here?
If I'm South Lyon, and I'm just thinking of every past player that's come through there, for them, I'm going to run the ball. I'm just going to put it on the ground, do what I do best, and say, hey, you know what? This is a play. They're probably going to expect run, but we got to just drive off the ball. This is what these last few weeks in August have been training for, right? Those hard days in camp, the two-a-days, the hard-hitting practices, right? This is where it comes into play, that 4th and goal on the line in the conference game, right? You got to have the plays ready to go. You got to have the players, motivated and excited to be there. So I expect them to try to smash mouth football, bully football right down the middle, maybe on the edge or maybe a little boundary counter here. But nonetheless, I think they're going to keep it on the ground. I'd be surprised if they take it to the air with just a few inches to score.
South Lyon is half a football away from getting to a point away. Shields, quarterback sneak. When you're 6'4", that is a pretty darn good decision. Touchdown, Brady Shields.
And this is old school football. Quarterback sneak. Hey, he's just lining up. He's checking where the line of scrimmage is. Does a good job. You're supposed to get that back foot in the ground so that you can plant off of it and really dive in between the linemen. One of the best to ever do QB sneaks, Tom Brady. Yep. And he really found a way to make it work for him. And it helps when you got your running backs giving you a little push in the end zone as well.
Wait a minute. Did the Michigan alum in the broadcast booth just bring up Tom Brady?
I did. A lot of maize and blue out here today. Maybe it's, subconsciously in me.
South Lyon trying to tack on the extra point to tie the game, and they do. That's Johnny Michaels. As Brady Shields still getting a little bit of love over on that sideline. I saw the opening line for the Michigan football game this weekend is 36-point favorites. I'll let you decide on who's going to cover or not. Coming up at halftime, we'll give you an update in our top 10 for the Mr. Football and Anvil Awards, delivered by Hungry Howie's, and we'll bring in Alan True from 24/7 Sports for our recruit report. Stay right here on Game Time Live. I know you were wondering, Grant, Syracuse plays Colgate in week 1. Big 4 o'clock tilt on a Saturday. It's a big game for the Orange. Dino Babers coming off a bowl game last year. Some questions at the quarterback spot, but we'll see. Look, I just got to stand up for the Syracuse alums in Metro Detroit. It's me and Buddy Boeheim and Mike Tirico, and that's about it.
Mike Tirico. Speaking of Dino Barbers, I actually had the opportunity to go on a visit when he was at Bowling Green, and I met him there, and he's a really good guy, and he's running a good program there at Syracuse. So, we'll see what they do week 1 and go from there.
That is my one obligatory reference to my alma mater. I promise there will be no more. All right, so Ben Radley going to kick it deep for South Lyon. They just tied it up. And what I wonder here, Mott's got the one timeout, 1:23 on the clock. With Caleb Osborne, it's a lot of time to work.
That is a lot of time. You got 2 timeouts to work with. The offensive coordinator and the head coach right now are kind of shuffling up their best 2-minute plays here. And we got a wide return here by Donovan Isaac,
who actually bobbled it initially. Actually helped to set up his blockers. And this will be a starting field position at the 36 for Mott. Not too bad. In case you're wondering as well, Sinan Benitez, the kicker for Waterford Mott, soccer player as well. They do feel confident in him from about 35, 40 yards. So starting at the 36, doing the math, they probably got to get 45, 50 yards to start thinking about field goal.
Right on. And that could come in the form of many ways. In the air or just one touch from Caleb Osborne or Aiden Bowe, one of these electric playmakers. So if you're South Lyon, you want to apply some pressure, but also don't blitz and give up a big play, right? Be smart in what you do here because you got a minute left to get in the halftime tied.
Barnes motions out. Osborne running. Caleb up the middle. Takes a couple of guys to bring him down again. Eventually took 3 Lions who pushed him out of bounds. That'll stop the clock with 1:07 remaining in the half.
The maturity is just, it's each year with Caleb Osborne. The coaches speak on it, and there's little plays that you can see it in, and that's a play right there, understanding the situation, right? You got a minute left. You got 2 timeouts. You got a tie ball game. You're running a quarterback counter to the boundary. get your yards and get out of bounds. So fantastic job there of stopping the clock and letting them, operate and get a play call in that they really want to run.
Barnes the back with Osborne. He shifts out again. Quick throw to Barnes. Right up that sideline, lowering his shoulder again and getting out of bounds with a first down. There's just something fun about watching a guy who's 5'8", 165 sacrifice his body like Javon Barnes.
And it comes up all over tape. I mean, he is just a physical specimen. Like you said, standing 5'6", 150, 160 pounds. The little fella has a big heart, and he runs hard, man. He's not to be messed with. I wouldn't want to be out there tackling him the way he's lowering that shoulder. And I'm sure that the cornerback there is like, ooh, that was a hard runner right there, man. I better take him a little bit lower next time.
So first down for Mott, right at the 50, 1 minute to go in the half. And they've scored on each of their last 2 drives. Quick drop for Osborne. Given time. Fastball down the middle, caught. Isaac makes the catch. He is brought down short of the 5. That's the best pass of the night for Caleb Osborne.
Fantastic job here. Caleb Osborne is just going to do what he does best, right? He's reading the coverage, right? He gets the safety to kind of shade over to the left, and he fits a tight seam ball in behind the cover 3 defense, and that's where you want to go on cover 3, right up the seam. Good job by Caleb Osborne. First and goal here.
Running right. Trying to get to the goal line. Caleb Osborne gets to the goal line again. That is touchdown number 3 tonight.
And they're just going to run Caleb Osborne into the boundary. You got number 5, Mike Boland, and number 24, Javon Barnes just leading the charge. 2 of their best blockers out of the backfield, and it's just essentially a kick return. You just got to follow your blockers, shoot the gap, and beat the guy to the pylon. Caleb Osborne is as good as that as anybody in the state, and he's showing it here tonight.
There's a lot of great QBs in this state. Bryce Underwood, Isaiah Marshall, C.J. Carr. But if you do not put a little respect on Caleb Osborne's name, I don't know what to tell you. Extra point is up and good.
The extra point is good.
This Waterford Mott program, we say without exaggeration, they are in a stretch that the football program has never had before. They finally won their first ever playoff game, beating Adams back in 2016. A couple of years ago, 2021, they win their first ever district championship. They have had only 2 losing seasons since 2014. From 1988 to 2013, they had exactly 4 winning seasons. But over the last decade, Waterford Mott football has been as good as they ever have been. And when you've got number 1 at the controls, you're going to be in a lot of football games.
Yeah, you are. And he's just going to keep you in the games. And speaking with Coach Farr this week, it's easy to see why they have success. I mean, he seems like a very likable guy. The players play for him. They play hard, and it seems like that coaching staff has a really good relationship with those players down there. And they really, they respond to Caleb, and when he makes these big plays, it fires everyone else up. And Waterford Mott's, they're knocking on the door here, saying, hey, we can play ball with the best of them too. Especially when you got number 1 Caleb, leading the charge there.
Liz told the great story earlier about head coach Chris Farr and his 10-month-old son, who he calls his miracle baby. Coach Farr gave Caleb Osborne the ultimate compliment. He said, if my 10-year-old son turns out like Caleb, I've done a good job as a dad. Another kick for Benitez. It's a short one. Capicchione makes the catch right near the 20. Spun off of his own guy and got tackled short of the 30. So, Grant, this is an interesting little scenario here. 1 timeout left for South Lyon. It is an offense feeling good after scoring on that 4th down and goal. But junior quarterback, 35 ticks on the clock. You do have a decision to make here how you want to attack it.
If I'm South Lyon, I'm going to take it slow, right? The name of the game for South Lyon is kind of controlling the clock, controlling the flow of the game, and that doesn't mean you have to force things, right? You're down 7, 35 seconds left in the half. You could do 1 of 2 things. 1, you could try to take a shot here and take it, tie it up or make it interesting. Or 2, you could, collect your guys and say, hey, you know what? Let's take it into the half and let's go down and let's figure out what we need to do in this second half.
Mott will get the ball to start the second half, by the way. Just keep that in mind. They'll throw on first down. Shields lofts the ball down the sideline, and it is... Oh, it's caught! Climbing the ladder for an outstanding catch. And South Lyon in business.
Just a fantastic catch here by Brady Meyer. I mean, he's a taller guy, too. He stands at like 6'7", or not 6'7", excuse me, 6'2", 175, and he just goes up and gets it on the cornerback. And really good throw there, right? When the cornerback doesn't have his eyes turned, that's an open receiver. So he gives his receiver an opportunity with a nice high ball to the sideline where only he can catch it. Really good job, really good throw there by number 15, Brady Shields.
And the clock stops as well because Brady got out of bounds. Shields setting up a screen. There is room. A whole heck of a lot of room. Jake Tolbert dragging tacklers inside the 20. I think we got our answer on how South Lyon's going to attack this drive.
Yeah, one of two ways, and they took the hard route. They said, hey, we're going to go down and get it, right? And they just got him in back here to a halfback screen. When Brady Shields drops back, these young, inexperienced D linemen, they want to just chase him, right? It's a game of tag. They want to go, hey, I'm going to get the quarterback. I'm going to get a sack today. Nope, he's just going to dump it over your head to the running back, Jake Tolbert there, who is, Coach said is their fastest player, and it shows there. He just took off, and number 12, Isaiah Veach, who's one of their better tacklers, had a hard time catching up to him.
So now this is where the math gets interesting. South Lyon did just clock it on the last play, so they saved the timeout. There's 13 seconds on the clock, and that ball's at the 21-yard line. Sophomore kicker Johnny Michaels, so they feel confident in kicking PATs. We may be about to find out how confident they are in Johnny kicking field goals.
Yeah, and we'll see if he gets an opportunity here. Talking with the coach, it seemed like they wanted to, not have to rely on the kicker. They wanted to give it to the offense, let them do the work. But, when you're down 7 points and 13 seconds left, you might have to take that option.
Brady Shields a red-hot quarterback right now. He's dropping back again, pumping, rolling, and throwing it away. 7 seconds on the clock.
The maturity showed there as well. Just growth. You want to see your players develop from week 1 to week 2. And Coach Henson said that week 1 to week 2 is some of the biggest development that you can have out of your players. And that little throwaway, you may say, oh, he threw the ball away. But that's a good job of understanding, hey, 13 seconds left. I can't sit back here and try to play scramble ball. I got to, hey, if the guy's open, throw it to him. If not, live to see another play. Dart it, get it out of bounds, and get your offense another try here.
South Lyon does have the one timeout left. Typical football play takes 5 or 6 seconds. So they're right on the range here, getting one off and getting a timeout. Third down and 10. Shields rolling as the clock runs. He throws that ball into the corner of the end zone, but he just missed Jedrusik. Right now the clock here at Kettering High School shows 0. The South Lyon coaching staff is saying, wait a minute, there should be 1 second on the clock. Mott's trying to get to the locker room before the officials change their mind.
Coach is going, hey, get off the field, get off the field. That clock's at 0. But just like you said, Evan, that 5 to 6, 7 second is very, you're pushing it, right? You don't have time to snap it and get a spike after that. So, the risky play there by South Lyon. But, maybe they don't have, 20 or 30 yards on their field goal kicker. So, they took a shot. They had a guy open in the corner, very last second. But, nonetheless, good second half on the way.
Now, Waterford Mott, that offense is starting to hum. They've scored on each of the last 3 drives, and they will indeed get the ball to start the second half. South Lyon won in week 1. Waterford Mott dropped a tough one at Wayne State to Walled Lake Western. But tonight at their new pseudo-home field, Kettering High School, because unfortunately Waterford Mott's field was damaged by all those rains last week. Waterford Kettering has become the home of Waterford Mott over the rest of the year. And right now Mott at their new home looking pretty good, up by a touchdown after a couple of quarters of football. Down to the field we go. Liz standing by.
Hey guys, here with Coach Farr. You're able to score right there at the end. I saw the emotion on your face. How important was that one heading into the half?
I just want our kids having fun right now. I want them running around having fun. It's been an extremely long week, and I just want them having fun and just play, just relax and play and have fun and stop being stressed out.
Yeah, South Lyon putting up a tough battle out there. What adjustments do you want to see moving into the second half?
I mean, we're doing okay. They're just making plays. You know what I mean? They're good coaches and a good program too, so they're not going away easy. There's a lot of pride over there.
Yeah, and what's going to be the message in the locker room?
Man, just have fun and enjoy the day and play discipline. We did do a couple of things that, did our own thing, but just have fun, be disciplined, and don't change a thing.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll see you guys after this break.
At Hungry Howie's, we're famous for flavor, and this is our Chief Flavor Officer. Every hour of every day, our CFO obsesses over the tastiest ingredients, combining them to create new flavor combinations your taste buds never knew they needed. Until now. Introducing his latest master pizza, the Bee Sting. Hot honey drizzle, classic cup pepperoni, and spicy jalapenos, or any two toppings. And our famous flavored crust. It's all the buzz.
Hungry
Howie's! At Alto Equipment, we know when it comes to getting your job completed on budget and on schedule, uptime matters. Alto Equipment has partnered with the biggest names in construction, including Volvo, Lieboy, Senebogen, Avant, ASV, and more to provide the state of Michigan with industry-leading service and support. Alto Equipment services all makes and models, and their technicians are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Do you have a big project? Alta Rents has you covered with the most diverse rental fleet in Michigan. Give them a call at 844-GO-TO-ALTA today.
Every high school sporting event in the state of Michigan has one thing in common: officials. Every game, every meet, every match. Without officials, there'd be no touchdowns, no three-pointers, no face-offs. Without officials, there'd be no games. Officiating is a great way to give back to your community and stay involved with the sports you love. And officials are needed now more than ever, because without officials, it's just practice.
We have had just 1 week of football. Already, the Mr. Football talk is spreading. People are looking to see who are going to be the guys who set themselves apart from the rest of the pack and truly play like the best player in the state of Michigan. For 15 years, week after week, we talk about the dudes balling like no other. So to my left is Sean Belizean. He is tasked with breaking down one player who has got the goods. The list you see on your screen right now are the top 10 candidates in the Mr. Football race right now. Sean, who are you tasked with talking about today?
Well, how many times do we say it? Putting up big-time performances in big games is crucial to a spectacular like this. And that is exactly what Isaiah Marshall did last week in that thrilling 29-27 win over Cass Tech. Check this out. He threw for 3 scores, and then he scampered for the game-winning touchdown, a 16-yard run with only 54 seconds remaining to secure that win for the Warriors. This kid, I think everybody knows about him already, 6 foot, 204 pounds. He's got a beautiful touch on his ball, and he can fly. To me, it comes as no surprise that you saw people all over the place trying to get his services once he goes to the next level, but he is a commit in Kansas, and boy, I'll tell you what, Jayhawk Nation is going to be very happy with this kid, as Southfield A&T is right now. Just a huge performance in week 1, and Lauren, we talk about it every year, every week. We talked about it last week.
Yeah.
This is how you put your name out there. This is how you change the pecking order, so to speak, and Zeke came up big.
No doubt. Isaiah Marshall has the highest 24/7 rating for a player going to Kansas since the running back Devin Neal, and he's been a Doak Walker National College Player of the Week multiple times, so they are very excited in Lawrence for the arrival of Isaiah Marshall. Now, Southfield has Clarkston this week, who'll be playing with the big chip on their shoulder after falling to Northville. The OAA White is not the toughest division in the state. I love that they schedule Clarkston, Cass Tech, and West Bloomfield as the majority majority of their non-division schedule. So that's going to help Marshall stock in this race as we move along here. He's already taken care of Cass Tech.
Well, and you know what, Lauren, to your point, that is one of the big factors in this. When you go out there and you play those tough opponents, those names that everybody knows about, the usual suspects, if you will, and you go out and you put up performances like that, again, 3 touchdowns, the winning scamper with just 54 seconds left, yeah, you're going to change the pecking order. So it's going to be fun to watch. Who answers this week? You know, I mean, that's the coolest thing about that is if you think it's going in one direction, somebody else can jump up, and that is what is so much fun about a wonderful event like this, and of course, the spectacle that is MHSAA football in our state.
No doubt. All right, guys, we want you to vote for your favorite player. Top vote getter cannot be removed from the top 10 for any reason. The list will be up on the site, statechampsnetwork.com this weekend, and you can start up voting if not sooner. Will we have a shakeup next week?
That's a great question. You know what? If guys, listen, if you play your way on, we have no choice but to put you on. And that's, I always say, no disrespect to guys on the list, but it's tough to keep a top 10. You got to earn your way on there, and you have to work to stay on there. That's the beauty of this.
Stay tuned.
Do you know the biggest difference between a pickup game and organized high school sports? The answer is obvious. It's officials. School sports is more than just kicking a ball or running fast. They're an extension of a student's education and the classroom. An official can help teach the importance of following the rules, impartiality, and most importantly, fairness.
Captain of the football team, correct? Represents leadership and sportsmanship, right? You guys set the good examples for your fellow teammates, okay? All right, we have a problem with one of your fellow teammates, we'll come and ask you to take care of the problem, okay?
But the need for officials has never been greater. There are some benefits to becoming an official, like staying in shape, staying involved in the sports you played as a young person, networking, and of course, you can earn some pretty good extra money while doing all of that. It's easy to sign up. Just go to mhsaa.com/officials and click register now. Now is a great time for you to get involved in your community and give something back to our kids. There's help wanted. We need you to whistle. For more information, visit our website at mhsaa.com.
Well, hey, what's up, Michigan? My name is Lauren Plants, and if you love high school football recruiting, this is the content for you. We have got the most dedicated scout and analyst in the business. His name is Alan True. He is with 24/7 Sports. Thanks for joining me again, Alan.
Of course, Lauren. Thanks for having me.
All right, so before we get into the athletes we're profiling this week, just real quickly, talk about your week 1 observations. What impressed you the most?
Well, first, we had such closely contested games and that Zenith Prep Kickoff Classic. So I think it just tells you the quality of teams we have in Michigan this year. And you had several players stand out who I think can play just about anywhere on the national level. When you have the individual performances that we saw from Nick Marsh, Bryce Underwood, Isaiah Marshall, Tashi Bracewell, those guys are going to a variety of schools. I think it really highlights the type of talent we have for colleges to come recruit in the state of Michigan.
Absolutely. So let's get into this week's guys. The Dexter Dreadnoughts are coming off their greatest season ever, a Division II state semifinal appearance in 2022. We all marveled at the way Cole Cabana carried the rock, and now he'll do it at the University of Michigan. One of the guys who opened holes for Cabana is getting some MAC love right now.
Yeah, Cam Clark, an offensive tackle who is just in the 2025 class, but already getting a lot of attention just this past week. Eastern Michigan and Central Michigan offered him. Miami, Ohio, and Toledo have also offered him. You know, he's got Cabana at Michigan, and he's got former teammate Brendan Parachek at Michigan State as well. So you know those two Big Ten schools are keeping tabs on him. 6'7", 275 pounds. You don't see that too often as a junior, so definitely one to keep an eye on. I'd have to think the Power 5 schools are going to give him a closer look this season.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Chippewa Valley is coming off a tough loss in week 1, one in which we saw Anvil Award candidate and Colorado commit Brandon Davis-Swain get the 2-point conversion to win the game. But the Big Reds have a solid weapon at receiver, and it looks like Kansas is not just satisfied with maybe bringing in Southfield quarterback Isaiah Marshall to Lawrence.
Yeah, they offered Deshaun Lanier from Chippewa Valley this week, a 2025 receiver who had a good week 1 in that loss to West Bloomfield. He had the go-ahead touchdown, which then forced West Bloomfield to have to go the length of the field to win that game. But had a good game, and he was going against UCLA commit Jameer Benjamin. He also made some plays on the defensive side of the ball. So Kansas has now offered him to join, West Virginia, Notre Dame, Louisville. He's got quite a few on his list, but looks like he's going to have a big junior season and continue to add to his list.
Well, on the defensive side of the recruiting game, U of D Jesuits Elijah Dotson will spend his time, or at least we think, on a certain sideline this Saturday.
Yeah, it's possible he'll visit Michigan this weekend. We're still uncertain at this time if Michigan is going to host recruits for their first 2 games of the season. That's still to be figured out. They may self-impose a recruiting regulation there where they don't host recruits the first 2 weeks of the year. But either way, Elijah's going to be a frequent visitor in Ann Arbor. He already has been. He was at their barbecue. He was at their camp. Michigan came to watch him work out in the spring and offered him a scholarship. He's got several other offers, including Pitt, who was the first one. But right now, Michigan is likely the leader and the one that other schools are going to have to catch up to for Dotson, a 6'2" safety who's also an outstanding high school receiver.
Fantastic. Great stuff. Hey, you need to follow Alan True on X to get your fill of things happening, not just in Michigan on the recruiting side, but also the Midwest as well. Alan, thank you so much. We're going to talk to you next week.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
All right. Well, hey, everyone, and welcome to our Week 1 recap and update of this year's 2023 State Champs Amble Award presented by Hungry Howie's. I'm Lauren Plant alongside Michigan High School football coach, Hall of Famer Tim Beckler. Tim has a lot of love for these guys, and we're talking about the guys who man the trenches. So let's put our initial top 10 on the screen right now. So for the last couple of years, Brandon Davis Swain has been making an impact for West Bloomfield. He has also been on the Anvil Top 10 numerous times. He is the top pass rusher in the class of 2023, getting ready to join primetime Deion Sanders out in Colorado. You like this player a lot.
I love this player. 6'4", 230, like we said, he's a senior. Watch this film. 2 things I thought was, the first one was, wow, what a dangerous football player. And number 2, his coaches let him have a lot of fun. I mean, he gets to play tight end, running back, D-tackle, D-end, kind of like an outside linebacker. He gets to do everything. That kid has to love game night. But when he does play tight end, he's a dominant blocker. And he can run and catch the football. I mean, he's a big man. He says 230. He might be a little bigger than that. And then when he plays defensive tackle or the rush end position, man, do you run at him or away from him? Because I don't think it matters. He gets to the football. He's a natural, and what I mean by that is his hands are just phenomenal. He attacks blockers. He sheds blockers. When he pass rushes, he's got 3 rushes. He's got a bull rush. He can go outside you, inside with speed. He's got the club and rip, club and swim. You can't single block this guy. You've got to have a back come and chip and give that tackle help because he's just dominant. But the best thing is he's just got a motor. He's an angry pursuer of the football, and man, he gets there and he arrives in a bad mood. He's going to get to the football.
Absolutely.
He's a great player.
A man with bad intentions. Also was able to convert the 2-point conversion to beat Chippewa Valley in week 1. That was a huge moment for him. Are you a fan of, say you've got an excellent lineman, whether usually they're playing both sides of the ball, maybe not lining up though in the tight end side. Are you a fan of a guy, of putting a guy out there, getting that much time on the field, knowing that what you really need him to do is what he does best, which is sack quarterbacks?
Yes, but you've got to be careful with that. And certainly when you're playing against a great team, I'm not going to rest him on defense. He is not coming off the field on defense. But offensively, you can get him a drink of water, get him some air, and then put him in spots on offense. But, yeah, I would never take him off the field on defense.
And when you're game planning, you just salivate at having an athlete like that, knowing that you can create specific plays in time, that you can put the ball in his hands and let him just work defenders.
Right. Football is not an easy game, and for him to be able to play that many positions on defense and offensively, he's just a player. And his hands are phenomenal. He just attacks blockers, and he gets off with ease. He's an amazing player.
We're going to spotlight a guy every single week here on the State Champs Network as part of our Extra Point coverage each and every week. The voting for this year's AMV Award will begin this weekend, if not sooner, so keep checking back at statechampsnetwork.com. You'll have an opportunity to vote for your favorite candidate. Now, the guy who leads the vote each week cannot be removed from the competition because I'm telling you right now, there are guys determined to play their way into the race. Perfect case in point. Northville's Ferris Jordan. We want to give him a shout out. The fact that Mustangs went out and defeated Clarkson 24-10. Just a beautiful interception to help seal the deal. We see you, Ferris. This is a fluid competition, and players will fall out of the top 10 and players will play themselves in. So this list at some point is going to change. Vote as often as you like, beginning this weekend at statechampsnetwork.com.
From our very first breath, curiosity is why we question everything through barrages of whys and how comes. It now needs the tools to will its vision into existence. Tools that will forever allow curiosity to obscure the line between technology and magic. Be curious. Make magic. Lawrence Technological University.
I said I'd never join. Then I want to get to work on one of these.
Never knew how strong I was.
I figured I'd never get out of my hometown.
Or be the one who stops an attack. Joining the Navy sounds crazy. Saying never actually is.
At Hungry Howie's, we're famous for flavor, and this is our Chief Flavor Officer. Every hour of every day, our CFO obsesses over the tastiest ingredients, combining them to create new flavor combinations your taste buds never knew they needed. Until now. Introducing his latest master pizza, the Bee Sting. Hot honey drizzle, classic cut pepperoni, and spicy jalapenos, or any two toppings. And our famous flavored crust. It's all the buzz.
Hungry
Howie's!
Getting ready for the second half, shaping up to be a pretty darn good one. Waterford Mott leading South Lyon 21-14. Liz Kuhn standing on the sideline. She just talked to the South Lyon coaching staff.
Hey guys, I talked to Coach Henson coming out of the locker room, and he said we just got to stick with what we're doing. He said we've got really good attitudes right now. We gave him a little bit of a gimme early in the game, but if we just stick to our game plan, we're going to be just fine in this one. Guys?
Yeah, South Lyon has had some pretty good drives, Grant. You and I were kind of talking about this at halftime. Every time it seems like Waterford Mott's going to stretch the envelope in this game, South Lyon has a good drive. The frustrating thing for them to end that first half, they had, 30, 40 seconds to work. They got the ball down to the 21, but they took too long in the last play, threw it out of the back of the end zone, and couldn't attempt a field goal. So now they're forced to kick it back to Mott, and if Mott scores here, they got a 2-touchdown lead.
Yeah, and an unfortunate way that things ended at the half. The clock management just wasn't right, quite there. With a younger quarterback, that tends to happen. But he was making good decisions there on that drive. I'm looking forward to seeing if South Lyon's going to come out with an aggressive attack this second half. Last week when they played Walled Lake Northern, their second half, they had 2 drives in the first half. One was 14 plays, and one was 11. Second half, they had 2 3-and-outs, another 4-and-out, a turnover after 8-play drive, and then they had a 5th drive for a 2-yard touchdown at the end of the game to put it away. But I want to see South Lyon come out here with a little bit of energy and get a stop here if they want to stay in this one.
Radley kicks. Barnes returns. Javon Barnes tripped up, but not before. It is a pretty darn good return up to the 35. Grant, watching Caleb Osborne that entire first half, he did have a couple of nice passes, but all the touchdowns in this game have come with Osborne on the ground for Mott. If you're South Lyon's defensive coordinator, what are you trying to do to make Caleb uncomfortable?
And it may be changing the South Lyon, scheme, right? They're a heavy blitz team. They like to get the D-line moving in different places. They run a lot of stunts, and sometimes that leaves you weak and vulnerable to quarterback scramble and big plays. So I want to see if they maybe try to spy a linebacker, maybe have a D lineman kind of drop off and kind of spy from the side. So we'll see what kind of attack they have here.
Osborne does not run on the first play of the second half. This is a run up the middle for a handful of yards up near the 40-yard line. They did a nice job mixing in the run game. A couple of guys today. That's Jordan White, the sophomore, up the middle. White, 5'5", 130, also a hoops player in his free time. 4 catches, 40 yards, and a touchdown last week in a loss for Mott, 42-27 against Walled Lake Western and the Zenith Prep Kickoff Classic at Wayne State. Quick throw for Osborne, a little low, but it is caught by Aiden Bowe. Pinwheeling down the sidelines, awfully close to the line to gain. They have already signaled first down, Mott.
Good way to switch it up there, right? Just letting your quarterback have an easy completion, get it to an electric playmaker on the edge and Aiden Bowe. And then Jordan White there with a fantastic lead block, and same with Donovan Isaac. You're going to see Donovan Isaac on the right side of the field the whole day, right? They play on the right and the left. Carter Alexander is going to be on the left, and that's so that they can play fast and they can get back to the line of scrimmage and run their no-huddle offense.
High snap, Osborne fields. Running right with real estate. Caleb Osborne down the sidelines. He's still running. Caleb Osborne, another big burst.
And you can't stop him. You can only hope to contain him. They're just going to run a little misdirection here, a little counter. Watch what Osborne does. He's going to just look left. He's going to kind of hesitate. Say, hey, oh, nope, I'm coming back to my blockers here. He's got 2 pulling, a tackle and a guard pulling to the front side, and then he's got Jordan White lead blocking out of the backfield, and then he just lets his legs do the rest of the work. Getting to that sideline and just showing why he's so hard to bring down, that big frame and those long legs that just have great stride and great determination. Good run by him, good play call. They're pushing the envelope here for another score.
Osborne by his lonesome. Throws. In. Caught. Touchdown, Donovan Isaac. Let Caleb cook.
And he can pass, in the wise words of Friday Night Lights. Good pass and touchdown here. It just hits his receiver right down the sideline. I couldn't see quite what they ran, but it looked like it was a little bit of hesitation, right? Trying to get the cornerback to come up and make a play on the slot receiver that's running out route. Donovan Isaac probably had a little bit of a stalk block and then go type play. Fantastic job there. The reason he's so open is just because they made it look like something else that they've been running earlier in the day, and they get Caleb Osborne on the board for a passing touchdown as well. And as of right now, he's matched his stats of last game. Three on the 3 touchdowns and then a passing touchdown, just in opposite order.
Grant said this in the open to the broadcast. One of those dumb broadcast cliches is, they put up video game numbers. With Caleb Osborne, it's not a cliche because over the last 2 seasons, he combined for over 7,000 total yards and 89 total touchdowns. That's like playing NCAA 14 with Johnny Manziel on the easiest mode. Caleb Osborne does this stuff in real life.
And it really just blows my mind how under the radar he is. I mean, he is just a playmaker that is not getting rejected, right? He finds a way to get in the end zone. They had a slow start to the game. The first drive they ended up having to punt, and then they were kind of had to figure out what South Lyon was doing defensively. But he's doing a fantastic job of staying in his in his realm and just taking what the coaches give him. And he's also feeding other players there. He gets Donovan Isaac involved, and you know what that does for a player? Getting him a touch, getting him a touchdown. Let him celebrate a little bit. And that's something that I also wanted to come in today and see, right? Caleb Osborne is given a lot on his plate each and every day. I would like to see him, deliver a little bit of mail to the other guys on the outside, right? Take some of that burden off of his back and let the other playmakers that can make plays do that. And he did that there. So really good play, really good drive, and that's a statement coming out for Waterford Mott.
And now you wonder what the response is for South Lyon. Staring down a 2-touchdown deficit, barely into the third quarter. Benitez about ready to kick her away again. This one is on the ground and fielded at the 30. So South Lyon starts right there. Nate Radley falls on the ball. Last couple of drives for South Lyon have been pretty good. Brady Shields has showed off the arm as much as he ever has in his young career. Last couple of drives, you wonder, Grant, if it continues here.
Yeah, and they've really impressed me as well, just with the play calling and a little bit of diversity from what they showed last week versus Walled Lake Northern. They're doing a really good job of mixing it up, and I came into this game thinking that it was going to be run, then pass. But they're throwing, they're mixing it in, and they're going to have to here, down 14 early in the second half. They're going to have to kind of mix things up and try to move the chains a little bit faster than they typically do.
Shields back in the shotgun with that Lion logo on the left side of the helmet. Pitch to Henderson. Got a block right side. Turned the corner. Turned it into a pretty good gain across that 35-yard line. Oh, boy. And now he's slow to get up.
And you hope he's okay. He's one of their playmakers, and it's a guy that they're going to need tonight if they want to stay in this one. And they're just going back to what they do. A little bit of a wing action there, orbit motion behind the quarterback and running back, getting that receiver on the edge, letting him run and do a lot of the work. You hope that it's just a little bit of a Charlie horse or one of those, little stingers that he can walk it off in a minute, because he's the guy that they're going to count on here for the rest of the night.
Ryan got to his feet. Standing on that sidelines for a minute. Gained 6 on first down. Now it's second down 4. Give Fredericks. Patiently running right side. Did not get the first down, but gained a couple of more yards. So it's third down and short.
Good run there by Fredericks, and that's a name that didn't pop up a lot in the interview talking with Coach Hansen. And I'm wondering if something's going on with Wyatt Douglas, who's their workhorse, who sees about 20 to 25 touches a game, who had a really good game for them last week. But nonetheless, Frederick is stepping up. He's having a good game, and he's pushing those sticks, and he's falling forward and doing all you can ask for out of a running back. It has to step up for your player that's not playing at the moment.
Shields running all the way. He didn't need much. He didn't gain much, but he's got the first down up to the 44. Brady Shields, the 6'4 junior, already one running touchdown tonight. He plunged ahead on a 4th down and goal from inside the 1. Coaching staff understands that with a first-year starting quarterback, there's going to be some growing pains. Coach Henson told us earlier this week, Grant, is we just want Brady to keep making the right play.
Yeah, the right play and learning how to become a leader, right? You're a junior quarterback. You got a whole nother year after this season. He wants to see him take the steps to, really garnish what the coaches are giving him and really take that step as a leader. And he said he leads by his play, right? He's a hard runner, and those first down conversions are ways just to get your teammates going. So good job by Brady there, and he's going to have another one here.
Same play, pretty good result. Again, he's across midfield into Mott territory and dragged down by the back of his jersey. The coaching of Brady Shields continues. There's nothing quite like that coach grabbing your jersey and saying, hey, pay attention.
Yeah, absolutely. When he grabs that jersey, looks you in the eyes and say, all right, halfback right, whatever play he calls, and he looks and says, go tell him and go run it. They're having a good drive here, and I guarantee you that they're going to try to keep moving this ball just how they have been so far.
Frederick switches to the right side in the shotgun with Shields. Now they motion Radley and pitch it to the big tight end. That's the first time we've seen him carry the ball on a designed run play. And he's pushed out of bounds close to that line to gain.
What do you do when you're a man down, right? It seems like Wyatt Douglas, number 1, the running back for South Lyon, is taking either a breather or he's kind of, working through something on the sideline. You call on your other teammates, right? You call on the guys that you can count on. And Ben Radley for South Lyon is just important to them as Caleb Osborne is to Waterford Mott. He's a staple for them, and that's out of the tendency chart. They never handed it off to him last week. They handed it off there and a little toss, and that's a guy I would not want to tackle on the edge running full speed.
Couple of yards more to go for South Lyon, who was pretty darn good converting third downs in the first half. Fredericks runs. First down with ease as he's shouldered out of bounds by Aiden Bowe. Move the sticks again for South Lyon.
South Lyon, they're running what they do, right? The buck sweep, the two pulling guards, really good job of getting the edge there. That buck sweep, they want to try to gain the outside leverage, try to get on the outside and make something happen. 23 Fredericks is doing a fantastic job of following his pulling guards, following his blockers, and really just keeping this drive alive. Now, one thing I want to see South Lyon try to do is try to incorporate explosive plays. They got to have plays that limit how much time they're using, but also get them more into scoring range.
Already ticking toward halfway into the third quarter. Fredericks again. This time, I don't know if he gained an inch. Mott defensive line walled up that time. Man, Mike Boland, number 5, is in on every play. Talked briefly with Mike on the sidelines before the game. May get a shot of his cleats here in a second. Very proud of his blue and white cleats. You can see them right now right around the 40-yard line. They look like the off-white Jordans, if you're into sneakers like I am. I had to ask Mike, where'd you get those shoes, man? They're cool. He said he got them where every 17-year-old gets everything ever, Instagram.
Four strong into the boundary here. Watch for something into the boundary, but they're maybe moving Ben Radley to the field, so that could change.
Play action for Shields. Wide open Radley over the middle. He is still rumbling. It is impossible for one man to bring down Ben Radley. It took 4 different Corsairs to bring him down.
And that's another guy, like I said, I would not want to have to be in space tackling him. Really good job here. Really good ball fake by Brady Shields. They just moved Ben Radley in motion here. You'll see Brady is just running or riding the fake. And then as soon as he pops open, when those DBs don't have their eyes back, he drops it right over their head. Really good play for them here because they run, and then they hit you with that little dump pass, and then they get it to one of their best, toughest ball carriers in Ben Radley, and he carries about 6 or 7 Waterford Mott players down the field with him.
On the move again. South Lyon in business again. Shields fears the awkward snap. Quick throw, Radley catch again. He's got the edge. He's got a touchdown. Second of the night for Ben Radley. We got a ball game again.
And what do you do when you run the ball a lot? You mirror your pass concepts with that. You got Ben Radley looking like he's going for a lead block, right? He's just going to slide into the flat right behind the line of scrimmage. Isaiah Veach and Mike Boland are having great days, but they lose sight of him, right? They got to keep sound eyes, assignment sound here, and they just kind of lose him down the line of scrimmage. Really good play call. I really like how they mirrored that up with some of their, their motions with the tight end that block, and it looks like it's going to be an inside run or an outside toss. But right there, they slip him through the line of scrimmage. Get the ball to your playmakers and let him do the rest of the work.
Here's Johnny Michaels again to try to knock through another extra point and make this a 7-point game. As Ben Radley is the long snapper again. Another good snap and another good kick. Number 9 in white, Ben Radley. Last season, the entire year, had 3 touchdowns. He has 3 touchdowns in the first 2 weeks this season, and I got a sneaking suspicion he's going to score a few more. Alta Equipment knows that when it comes to getting your job completed on budget and on schedule, uptime matters. Alta Equipment partners with the biggest names in construction with industry-leading service and support. You can give them a call at 844-GO-TO-ALTA. This is starting to turn into a little bit of a tennis match. Back and forth we go, Grant. Can anyone break serve? Can South Lyon get a stop and try to tie the game? That's your question now.
That is the question. And they're playing a little bit of the tennis or ping pong. They're going back and forth. Ben Radley saying, "Hey, Caleb Osborne, I can get in the end zone just like you can too." And I'm really impressed with the way South Lyon has come out in this second half. Like we noted earlier, their second half versus Walled Lake Northern was very slow. They came out and had 2 3-and-outs to start the second half. So they come out and they get the ball after the half, they get the kick, and they go down and drive it all the way. And then Ben Radley is helping them move the ball. They're down Wyatt Douglas, one of their playmakers on offense. It seems like he's not getting as much rep there, but just really, really good job by the South Lyon offensive coordinators, dialing that up and making it look like run and just having a good time there on offense and getting down the field there.
Michaels just made the PAT. Johnny back to kick this one off. Johnny does a little bit of everything for South Lyon. He kicks, he plays some linebacker, he's caught a pass tonight. Now he's preparing to kick it back deep to the Corsairs. Bounding boot. It bounces off of Barnes, who fields on the run, slips a tackle, and he's tripped up as he crosses the 30. Back down to the sidelines and back to Liz.
That's the day to be there. They have traditional Dancing Tuesdays where the team busts a move before they get down to business. I absolutely love it. You guys?
Why did we not get invited? I wasn't busy on Tuesday. I mean, I can't do that, but... Grant, can you do that?
No, my hips haven't been that loose in years, man. That is impressive work there by that kid doing that worm. Really good stuff out of him.
All right, what do we got now? Oh, boy. I am very jealous. Caleb Osborne back in the field. There's some dancing moves here. Caleb Osborne again. If he doesn't get tripped up there, I think he's running to the house.
Yeah, and that's a really good tackle by South Lyon there to prevent a touchdown, but an even better run there. They just run another counter to the boundary, right? They're getting their lead blockers at the point of attack and just letting Caleb Osborne just kind of to dictate where he wants to go. And it looks like he's getting gathered up, about 4 or 5 yards downfield, but then he just squirts out and keeps going. So really, really good job there. And I got to compliment Caleb Osborne and his balance, on contact. He doesn't go down easy.
For a guy who's 6'4", he's got pretty good center of gravity as he runs.
Absolutely.
Wants to throw this time. Just kidding, he's going to run. And he's got a lot of room to do it. Caleb Osborne making men miss. He's still on his feet. High stepping and escorted out of bounds inside the 5. Call him a human joystick. He's something to watch.
And just really good job here. You can't see the top of the screen, but he had an out route that was open, probably 5 yards. Jordan White was open out there, but he says, hey, I had one read on that play, and I'm just going to take it and do the rest of the work. And just really good job here getting downfield. And I want you to pay attention. Watch how the ball's a little bit loose, and he feels this guy coming for it. He tries to tuck it, gets it nice and high and tight, tries to avoid that second tackler there. Does a really good job of just making things happen down the field. It really does look like he's just out there playing with, like a grown man amongst boys.
Caleb Osborne running, leaning, not in yet. He's run for 3, thrown for 1, and Mott on the doorstep again. Man, there are times I wonder how defensive coordinators do not get consistent ulcers watching Caleb Osborne on tape.
I mean, there's no play shy of an electric play out of Caleb Osborne. I mean, every play, it's he's going to bring it. Nope. He gets tackled about 40 yards downfield. Regardless of that, he's just a fantastic player. Every time he has the ball, it's we're holding our breath up here like, oh, he might go all the way. Doing a fantastic job. And he's really, anytime South Lyon comes back, he's just saying, hey, I can go back right down the field and just add another 7 to that score. So as the time winds down, you got to keep in mind that South Lyon's more of a running game. So, Waterford Mott's kind of doing what they want to do here, and it's looking good on their end for this drive.
Lawrence Technological University, located in beautiful Southfield, Michigan, and is among the largest college of architecture and design in the nation. Go learn more and visit ltu.edu. Mott back in business. An offense last week that ran 41 plays and scored 27 points. They've already scored 28 tonight, and they are knocking on the door. Last time out was called by Mott, so they got 2 left. I wonder who's going to carry the ball here. They give it. And they don't get in. That was Jordan White, tripped up, 3rd down and goal.
Jordan White on the carry.
No, Jordan White's another guy that they throw in there at running back. He's a trusted player. He's only a sophomore, but he's gained the respect of the coaches and teammates to play in these big games and play in these roles where he's at running back, at receiver. So he's another weapon that they like to use and like to use and utilize him around the red zone.
3rd down goal. Osborne running. Caleb Osborne stretching. He is not in. Radley made the tackle, and Osborne wants to go.
And speaking with Coach Farr this week, I kind of asked him, I was like, hey, Coach, does Caleb give much input? Does he come back to the sideline and say, hey, Coach, I got it here. I know the looks. I can get it in there. And Coach Farr said, absolutely. When Caleb is cooking, sometimes we just let him cook alone. So right here, I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of just set it up, QB dive, let him just kind of try to find an angle, find a gap to get through. He's got a lot of trust in Caleb, and that's what a really good relationship between a coach and a player looks like. Trusting him on 4th and 3 on the goal line in a big game.
They'll trust him here, running and scoring. 4th down and goal, no problems. Running touchdown number 4 tonight for Caleb Osborne.
And just does it with ease, and he gets that 3 to 4 lead blockers at the point of attack, and they all just seal the edge, right? He could have beat him outside, but what's the shortest line between 2 points? North and south, a straight line, so he just gets right into the end zone and just makes it look really easy. He's a smooth player, man. He just kind of floats, and I don't like giving cliche, sorry, I can't even think of the word, resemblances, but he has a lot of Lamar Jackson in him.
Extra point was blocked, by the way, so it's still a tight ball game, 34-21. Somewhere, Grant, I don't know if it's right now, but someone in Caleb's family is going to watch back this ball game and go, hey, did you hear that guy on the TV call Caleb Lamar Jackson?
Yeah, and I throughout the week of watching the film, I just after every broken tackle and after the fluidity of running, just kind of making guys miss, but now it doesn't look like he's even sweating. It just gives me a lot of Lamar Jackson or even Vince Young with the height. It's just he's a really high caliber player. Toledo's getting a big steal in him, and he's having a fantastic day here. And he's just making it harder on South Lyon. These South Lyon coaches are just thinking, all right, crap, now we're down 13 with about 13, 14 minutes to go left in the game, and it kind of affects the way they call plays. So, Mott's doing what they want to do. They want to be up big with not much time left. So, kudos to them for executing the game plan and getting down the field and scoring when South Lyon says, hey, we're not going home just yet. So, it's a back and forth battle here, and it's been a really good one out of Caleb Osborne and his teammates.
We just got a great look at him, and his face looks exactly the same right now as it did on the first drive of the game, as you've talked about. Cool customer out there, man.
Cool customer. That's one of his strengths, Coach said. It's just his calm composure and his competitive excellence. It looks like he hasn't even sweated yet, right? And he's not even taking a seat. After that long drive, I would have looked for a bench seat, but he's up there cheering his teammates on like a good player and a good teammate.
All right, so Waterford Mott pushes this thing back up to a 2-score game. South Lyon offense has looked pretty good last couple of times they've touched the ball, Grant, but to your point just a few seconds ago, there's not a ton of time left in this game, about 90 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. For an offense that wants to be patient, they can afford to be a little bit longer, and then their arithmetic might start changing.
Yeah, so you got about, you're down 13 points. You don't have much time left, about a minute 30 here left in the 3rd quarter. You kind of got to stick to what you've been doing well, what's working, but also you got to keep in mind that, hey, we might have to try to, steal a possession on a turnover on defense again, just something. They're going to have to get a break to, kind of try to even things up here as they're down 2 scores, looking to try to make it a 1-score game.
Brady Shields back to the gun. First time we've seen Wyatt Douglas since the 1st quarter. And that's a pretty good return to action for number 1 in white.
Yeah, absolutely. And they've been missing him today. And he's just, when he gets on the edge, he's a north and south runner. I mean, one cut in the ground and he's trying to get, straight to that end zone. Really hard runner for them. Standing at about 5'11", 185, 190 pounds. A bigger body type. Also plays linebacker for him. He's a guy that they're going to count on this year a lot. And, they just went back to the buck sweep, right? Both the guards pull into the boundary, and they're just letting him do the work. Really good play there. First down on a first down, that's what you want.
Good start to the drive for South Lyon. We are under a minute to go in the third.
Keep in mind here, when they throw these receivers at wing, number 84, Capacchione, is down here at wing. He might get involved in the run game.
There he goes in motion. Shields the high snap. That busted the play. Oh, my goodness. Pad level wins, man. Barnes, what a tackle.
We've been calling his name all day, and Barnes just, it's the low man wins, right? When you stand 6'4" as a quarterback, that's a tough battle to win. It's a bad snap here, so he's probably worried about getting the play going, getting upfield, and then Javon Barnes says, you know what, I've seen this before. Grabs those legs, drives, and that is a perfect form tackle right there. Head up, head on the ball, grabbing him, putting him on his back. Like we said today, he plays with a lot of passion. He's 5'7", 5'8", but he plays like he's 6 foot, 200 pounds. Good tackle there, and we're moving on to the fourth quarter here.
You can't help but root for the guy in 24 in blue and white, and the guy rocking those sweet pink gloves. To the fourth, Mott trying to pick up their first win of the year. They're 12 minutes away and in a good spot.
At Hungry Howie's, we're famous for flavor, and this is our Chief Flavor Officer. Every hour of every day, our CFO obsesses over the tastiest ingredients, combining them to create new flavor combinations your taste buds never knew they needed. Until now. Introducing his latest master pizza, the Bee Sting. Hot honey drizzle, classic cut pepperoni, and spicy jalapenos, or any 2 toppings. And our famous flavored crust. It's all the buzz.
Hungry Howie's! At Alto Equipment, we know when it comes to getting your job completed on budget and on schedule, uptime matters. Alto Equipment has partnered with the biggest names in construction, including Volvo, Lieboy, Bogen, Avant, ASV, and more to provide the state of Michigan with industry-leading service and support. Alto Equipment services all makes and models, and their technicians are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Do you have a big project? Alta Rents has you covered with the most diverse rental fleet in Michigan. Give them a call at 844-GO-TO-ALTA today.
Every high school sporting event in the state of Michigan has one thing in common: officials. Every game, every meet, every match. Without officials, there'd be no touchdowns, no three-pointers, no face-offs. Without officials, there'd be no games. Officiating is a great way to give back to your community and stay involved with the sports you love. And officials are needed now more than ever, because without officials, it's just practice.
Back to Kettering High School, the part-time home of the Mott Corsairs for the rest of the year. Start of the fourth, heck of a football game going on here. Mott leading by a couple of scores. Caleb Osborne has accounted for all 5 touchdowns they've scored today. South Lyon still got something to say, but they're running out of time, and they're facing a 2nd and long to start the fourth quarter. Shields throws. Pass caught. Initial contact after Jederusik made the catch. Once again, physical play from Aiden Bowe. You got to love, Grant, how these smaller defensive backs for Mott not afraid to lower that shoulder.
No, they're going to come up and hit you, no matter if you're Carter Rubis, the starting middle linebacker, or you're Ben Radley, the 6'4", 220 tight end DN that catches the passes and runs really hard as well. I just want to compliment, though, Brady Shields on that. Just took his drop, hit his open target, took what the defense gave him, didn't hesitate, just put the ball right on him and made it a 3rd down and manageable.
Got to get to Mott territory on the 48 here. They'll run it with Douglas. He is tackled. He did cross midfield. And they have ruled him just a little bit shy of the 1st down. I don't think there's much of a decision to make here for South Lyon.
No, you can't afford to give the ball back to Waterford. The clock's ticking down. You get every possession matters here. So you're going to have to try to steal one after this. So you got to stay on the field here with your offense. And, trust your system, right? You run the ball really well. You've had had success today. just trust the system. Get it to one of your playmakers. I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to just give Brady, a little like a QB sneak or a QB power here. Just something simple, but something they run very effectively.
For now, they've got Shields in the shotgun on 4th down and a few inches. And South Lyon has to use a timeout down by 2 scores early in the 4th quarter.
And that's a tough place to be, and one of those timeouts is huge. And as a coach, that boils your blood a little bit. Crunch time, you got to expect your players to line up where they need to line up and not have to waste a timeout just for alignment, right? That's tough. And as a player, when you're that guy that doesn't know where to go, and then you got to go back to the sideline and say, hey, coach, I'm sorry, that's a tough conversation. So we'll see if that timeout affects them here in this 4th quarter. I bet they wish they didn't have to burn that, and I bet Waterford Mott's happy with that. And at the same time, though, it's 4th and 1, right? You do want to get the right play in, right? You don't want to force something and then just lose everything altogether. So, maybe that timeout does pay off down the line. Just stick with what you know here and get your best play in on the field.
Brady Shields on a 4th down and goal from inside the 1 earlier today did sneak it in for 6. They still have him in the shotgun here and a lot of power on the right side. They're running in that direction. 1st down, Brady Shields. Load up the line, load up the blockers, keep the drive going.
Brady Shields on the keeper. Picks up the 1st down.
Really good play there. Just got numbers into the boundary. You've been working the boundary all day. Brady Shields does the work there with the help of the lead blockers. That's a play that they can rely on those short yardage situations, right? Small side of the field. You got numbers over there with all your hats to that side. So good play call, way to move the sticks. And then good alertness there by Brady, trying to get out of bounds, trying to slow that clock down. That's some really good maturity out of him, out of the young junior quarterback.
Clock ticking. Under 10 minutes to go. Shields gives. Frederick runs, and he is tackled. He could not get out of the grasp of Isaiah Veach.
And that was both those big linebackers. Isaiah Veach held them up, and then Mike Bolin came in and gave him some dirty shoulder there. That's a great rally to the ball there by those linebackers. Those guys have busy days all day. They're really active linebackers. They do a good job of finding that ball. And good combination there by the two. That's old school football. Hey, hold them up. I'm coming. So good job there by those two.
South Lyon breaks the huddle again under 9 minutes remaining. Fredericks remains the back. Douglas has left the game again for South Lyon. Shields. Over the middle. Incomplete. He missed Radley. It was behind him. So this will make it 3rd down. Hungry Howie's is a great partner of the State Champs Networks. Mr. Football and Anvil Awards. Congrats to Hungry Howie's on 50 years of the best flavored crust pizza. Order your pizza at hungryhowies.com. All right, Grant. 3rd and 9. South Lyon, what are you thinking?
You're on the right hash. You got a right-handed quarterback, so if you were on the left hash, I would think boot pass, but they did show earlier that they will run him to the left and throw to the left. So I want to see them, expect them to, obviously throw it here, expect them to throw it. I wouldn't say obvious, but I would like to see them get on the run there. But they are showing 4 strong into the boundary, and as history repeats itself, that's usually a run to the boundary.
They roll Shields left. The pressure is coming. He can't step away. Oh, and a flag. Veach thinks he's got a sack, but they may have gotten him for a penalty. This could be a huge break for South Lyon if it stands. We'll wait for the flag, and then we'll have to get another look. A costly penalty on Mott, the horse collar. South Lyon in business.
That's a big break for South Lyon. Gritty play there. They run the boot to the left, trying to get Ben Radley into the flat. Isaiah Veach is humming like a missile through the middle of the line of scrimmage. Grabs the back of his jersey, and I think that was a decent call there. That you want to avoid those horse collar tackles because that's really dangerous on the runner and their legs, and a lot of folding up and a lot of ACLs have gone missing because of those horse collar calls. So, you hate to see it, but it's a good good thing for South Lyon here. Staying on the field.
Drive continues. Shields trying to set up a screen. He got rid of the ball late as pressure was ferocious from Maximus Jansen Van Vuren.
And you've been waiting all day to say that. I know that's a fantastic name by Maximus Jansen Van Vuren. But what they're going to do here is they're just going to run the screen pass to Jake Tolbert, number 7, their fast running back. But the play's not there, right? And Maximus is 6'6". He's got arms like a tall creature, right? He just grabs a hold of him, and there's no stopping him on that play. And then you just see a little bit of the inexperience come out there when he tries to get rid of the ball late to a lineman at that. That's not an eligible guy, and you want to see him just go down and not try to fumble that.
Yeah, Cody Martin, number 54, was the closest man. And this could prove to be a penalty and a play that completely brings this drive for South Lyon to a screeching halt. Remember, it's loss of down as well, so it's still second down.
Yeah, unfortunate play there, and that's just that's one of those mental errors that that you watch and film the next day, and you go, I know I shouldn't have done that, but the heat of the moment, the clock's ticking down. You want to try to make every play for your team. So, as a former football player, I can understand where he was thinking mentally, but as he grows and as he progresses, he'll understand. In that situation, I got to try to roll out of that. I got to try to just go down and get to the next play.
Second down and a mile. Shields throws. Pass caught. Tackle broken. And down across the 45 is Jed Rusick. So South Lyon gets some of the yardage back. They still got to get to Waterford Mott's 23. And with the ball on the 37, it's third down and a lot.
Yeah, and this is outside of South Lyon's comfort zone. They want to live in those third and shorts, those fourth and shorts, where they can let those big ball carriers, that Brady is a big guy as well, just run the ball down their, Waterford Mott's, throat. But right here, this is where Waterford Mott wants to live. They want to let, South Lyon throw it short and then come up and make a tackle, just like that. They'll give them, about 8-10 yards on a play, but they don't want to get beat on a big play here. So expect them to kind of let everything develop in front of them and look for Waterford Mott to rally to the ball.
Third down, long. Shields rolling. Turns the shoulders and throws incomplete. He was hoping for Henderson.
It's tough throwing on the left, man. When you're a right-handed quarterback, you got to get your hips turned to the target. You got to have your arm ready to throw. You got to get those shoulders towards your target as well and try to step through it as best you can. And that's not an easy ask for a young quarterback, especially one that hasn't thrown a lot of passes. You'd like to see that play call come off the left hash, so he's rolling to his right. A nice mobile quarterback that can throw on his right is an easier completion than rolling him left. But they're on the right hash there. They had to try to get something going. Nonetheless, man, they got fourth and a mile here, and this is a huge play if South Lyon wants to stay in this one.
Not quite last gasp, but starting to feel that way with 6.5 remaining. And Mott will call the timeout before this fourth down and long. Let's go down to the sidelines. Liz standing by.
Hey guys, we are here with some Waterford Mott students. The energy has been electric tonight, but we just got to talk about these outfits. What is the theme?
Our theme tonight is frat out. My name's Chad. I'm Brad. I'm Jeremy.
And I'm Cooper.
Okay, what are some other themes you guys have the rest of the year?
Some of our upcoming themes for this year are Jersey out, USA out, and of course pink out for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I love you, Sydney!
Absolutely, and one more question. How are you guys feeling tonight?
We feel good! Let's go!
I mean, who needs caffeine when you can just be in that student section? Here we go, 4th down and long. Student section making a little noise. Brady Shields, given time, rolling right, looking downfield, not gonna get there. Waterford Mott gets the stop. Brady was running for his life, and he couldn't find a lifeline.
And then it looked like it was a play that was going to develop some over routes. He's kind of waiting for his guys to get across the field and get in his vision. But the pressure by Mott, the D-line caused him to have to roll out to the right. He's on the short side of the field, so he doesn't have much room to work with. Decides the best bet there is to take it with his feet. But the Waterford Mott defense just rallies and tackles him and forces a turnover on downs.
So now this could be interesting to watch, Grant. 6.5 to go. South Lyon's got those 2 timeouts left. If you're Mott, an offense that likes to go, now you got to get a little more deliberate to kill some time.
Yeah, and this is where Coach Chris Farr said he doesn't like to live, right? He doesn't love to be in the 4-minute offenses, but when you're winning and you got victory in sight, you'll go 4-minute offense, and you'll try to just milk this clock and keep South Lyon's offense off the field. But don't count out Caleb or any of these players just busting another big one here.
Osborne running left, shaking, spinning across the 45. Another excellent gain for Osborne. Friendly reminder for you, Lawrence Tech Blue Devil football team taking Ave Maria. Coming up, ball game coming live at 7 o'clock on the Lawrence Tech YouTube page this Saturday, the 2nd at 7. LTU trying to bounce back after a Week 1 loss. And there are so many sports now going on. We go from it's baseball to there's baseball, there's tennis. Oh, by the way, college football is back. Michigan and Michigan State had opened up into their seasons. There's a lot of everything going on. Osborne will give to Barnes, and Javon Barnes once again lowering his shoulder, getting across midfield, and Mott keeps moving.
Yeah, they're going to keep doing this. They're going to just try to milk this clock. They're going to give it to the guys that they trust to hold on to the ball, right? The ball security is the main emphasis from these coaches. It's, hey, get the play call in. Tell your guys what the hike is on, what the set's on. Don't jump off sides. Don't shoot ourselves in the foot, and hold on to the ball. If we hold on to the ball for another couple plays here, we're going to push this game to the end, and we're going to come out victorious.
Yeah, because at some point, right, down 2 scores, South Lyon's going to have to think about starting to kill the clock here with those 2 timeouts.
Absolutely, and don't watch for them trying to strip the ball too. That's what South Lyon's telling them. Get that ball out of those ball carriers' hands.
Osborne smartly stays in the field of play. You could see he was thinking, okay, oh wait, I got to stay in bounds, and he just fell down.
Yeah, he fell down. I wonder if he was trying to cut back and saw that guy coming and just said, you know what, I don't need to take another hard hit yet. But just good job there, just staying in bounds. It's a good sense of awareness. 3rd down and short here, I'd expect them to keep it on the ground. They probably want this clock running as they're still up 2 scores. So even if they give that ball back, they got a little bit of cushion to work with. Last thing they want to do is give South Lyon the ball with good field position to work.
Under 5 minutes to go, 3rd down, 7. Quick throw, Osborne does the last thing you want to do. It's an incompletion that stops the clock.
Mm-hmm. And that was a good play by the defensive end, Ben Radley, number 9 there. He got a hand on that ball, I think. And I thought, Waterfront was going to run it, but they throw it there at a little bubble screen, and it's essentially an extended handoff. That's something that they have in their repertoire that they feel good with. That's something they can run and not have any errors on. But really good play there by Ben Radley. Not only did they get the incompletion, but they stopped the clock with that play.
Got another timeout on the field. It gives us a chance to remind you about next week's Game Time Live broadcast, and we are heading to the west side. A road trip for some of us, a home game for Grand Prairie. Next week, Lowell, East Grand Rapids coming up on Friday, September 8th, 7 o'clock on the State Champs YouTube channel, and the simulcast on the great voice of the Great Lakes, WJR6, 760 AM. Grant, I'm excited for the trip out west next week because some of us get paralyzed with good reason here in Metro Detroit following the great programs around this area of the state. But if you have not experienced West side of Michigan football. A, how dare you? B, get ready for the environment next week because it is awesome to watch schools like Lowell and East Grand Rapids battle.
Yeah, and the west side of the state has great football. I mean, I didn't pay attention to too much of it growing up, but I had one guy that I wanted to beat all of his records, and that was Drake Harris. And he was over on the west side tearing things up, having a good high school career over there. But the west side has a great reputation for some good hard-nosed football, and I'm looking forward to next weekend.
Osborne on the field on 4th down. Remember, he is also the punter. And now we get another timeout. Mott calls another timeout. Broadcast of this game, a copyright presentation of the State Champs Network. No reproduction, retransmission, or other distribution, or descriptions, or accounts of this game may take place without the express written consent of the State Champs Sports Network. I'd have to think here. There really isn't much of a decision for Mott. You kind of have to punt the ball, right?
I would say punt the ball, but they're in there talking a lot. Coach Chris Farr might be dialing up something to just put this game totally away. Don't be surprised if they'll try a trick play here or something to get South Lyon off sides or draw a penalty or get them to shoot themselves in the foot. But nonetheless, statistically, you punt here.
What was that line from Hunger Games? May the odds ever be in your favor. The odds are in your favor if you punt.
Yeah, they are. You hear all the what does the statistics say? And people are going for 2 points nowadays. The stats say here to punt it. But when you got Caleb Osborne too, those stats may be skewed a little bit.
Just kidding, they're going for it. Caleb Osborne down the middle, wide open man, Donovan Isaac. The catch, and when you've got Caleb Osborne at the controls, just push your chips into the table and let the man gamble.
And let him gamble, and he does, and he deals it out right here. He's just going to drop back, calm and collect. The pocket is beautiful. Great job by the offensive line. Throws another seam route to none other than Donovan Isaac, one of his favorite targets today, a guy that really gets down the field, really stretches the secondary and can blow the top off the roof. 4th and 8 there, they get about 40 yards. Really, really good call, and like I said, it looked like they were cooking something up in that huddle there, and they did. Really good job, and this is going to really kind of put the game away here for Waterford Mott, and they can keep the ball and put this in the end zone.
On their way to a heck of a first win this year. Osborne running right. Caleb bouncing and leaning. Did he get in? No. They're going to rule him out of bounds. Hold the celebration for just a little bit longer.
And I like how he fought for that end zone, but that's also a place where you can get comfortably with, getting to that edge and then just dropping, right? You get about 4 or 5 yards, just drop in bounds, let that clock keep running. But he's trying to go for the gold there. I can't blame him either.
South Lyon shuffling bodies off the field. They're going to have to burn one of those timeouts they got left here. Now just one left for the Lions, who now are firmly in danger of falling to 1-1. If you're wondering what the upcoming schedule is for South Lyon, well, next week they are slated to face the team that beat Waterford Mott in Week 1, Walled Lake Western. Then they have to go to Milford. A couple of home games against Walled Lake Central and Davison. Davison never easy. Lakeland, Waterford, Kettering, and South Lyon East, their traditional rival, to wrap up the schedule. As for Mott, after losing in Week 1 to Walled Lake Western and now on the verge here of beating South Lyon in Week 2, got to go on the road to Walled Lake Central next week, then Brownstown Woodhaven, middle of the month, South Lyon East, Lakeland to wrap up September, then home games against Walled Lake Northern, Milford, and then at Kettering. But that's going to feel like a home game because now Mott's got to play all their home games at Kettering. I don't know if that can be considered at anymore. Maybe it's just a neutral site game. Mott knocking on the door one more time. Osborne, little shovel pass. They've got everything in the arsenal. Mike Bolin, a touchdown. And the creativity here is just fantastic. This is something you see in the Kansas City offense with Pat Mahomes and Travis Kelce, right? They're just going to fake this outside zone read to the 24, Javon Barnes, and then Caleb Osborne just shows his composure, right? And just throws a little bounce pass. Now, it doesn't hit the ground, but it's just a nice, easy touch pass to number 5, Mike Bolin, who is another red zone target threat for them. He has got a touchdown last week versus Walled Lake Western, about 2 yards out, and then he gets another score there. Really, really like that play design. You don't see that too often at the high school level. It takes a lot of trust from your coach to your player to execute that, and he does. Mott's going to go for 2 here to try to make it a 21-point game. Osborne throws, and it's incomplete. So it stays at 40-21. So coming into the night, we told you, if you've never heard of Caleb Osborne, this quarterback for Waterford Mott before, get ready. Well, Grant, they've scored 6 touchdowns tonight. He's accounted for every single one.
Yeah, and that's going to be the rhythm throughout their whole season. It's going to go through him. He's going to be the guy delivering it and also taking it in himself. Really good job, really good drive. And like we said, we're talking with Coach Farr, they don't like 4 minute. They don't like the hey, let's slow it down, right? And some coaches don't like that. You know, it's kind of taking your foot off the gas. So really good job there. Way to execute on that 4th and long to keep that drive going. And that drive right there, that was a real dagger. You know, that's tough to come back from. You know, you look up at the scoreboard and they got almost double your points. That's a place where players on the other sideline, on the losing side, can really start to hang their head. But there's 4 minutes left. You'd like to see everyone stick in it. But Waterford Mott's really kind of taking this one to the woodshed right now.
Waterford Mott team, as we were talking about earlier, in one of the best stretches in the history of the program. 8-3 record last year. They lost to Midland in the Division II district final by a touchdown last year. And those schools up by Midland are always pretty good. I'm just partial to the Chemics nickname, that's pretty good. That's a lot smarter than I'll ever be, Benitez kicks it away. Boot down to the 10. South Lyon will return. And it's a tackle across the 30. I mean, the last couple of years, Grant, it's a Catholic League guy yourself, right? De La Salle has owned that division the last couple of years. They're still going to be really good, but Brady Drogosh is no longer the quarterback for De La Salle. So on paper, there's a little bit of room in Division II. Maybe there's room for Waterford Mott.
Hey, anything's possible, and you want your teams playing the best ball in October and November, right? When the wins really start to matter. And they showed today that hey, they were pretty mad about last week's outcome, right? Walled Lake Western ran the ball right down their throat. I mean, it was pushing the D lineman 5-6 yards off the ball. So you could tell Waterford Mott came out today with a little bit of passion, a little bit of anger built up in them, and they're just they want to make a statement, and they did so far today.
Still a little time for South Lyon. Another drive or 2 remaining. It's a new quarterback into the ball game. Shields is out, and the first throw was pretty good, but man, it was incomplete. In and out of the hands of Henderson. And it will be a 2nd down coming for South Lyon. New quarterback into the ball game, by the way, is Skylar McGlinch, the sophomore, number 6. Coaches will tell you all the time, Grant, right? No matter what the score is, when guys are in the ballgame, they're getting valuable experience. This is valuable experience for McGlinch.
This is absolutely valuable experience, and this is the experience that Garrett Baldwin, Brady Shields had last year. He was kind of playing those mop-up minutes, and this is, you got to groom your guys, right? He's going to take over the program one day, so you want to get him live reps. Nothing beats live reps. You get better at football by playing football. So, he's going to have some good, valuable time here, and it's always nice when you can, get in the game and have the ability to go watch the film after, and you'll say, hey, I was a part of that. Win, lose, or draw, you learn something from these tough games.
Just completed the last pass and found Radley for a 1st down. Skylar's hot. McGlinch throws incomplete. Again, Henderson was open, but again, couldn't make the catch.
Lynch is throwing these things in there, man. He's stepping into the throw and throwing BBs past these linebackers, dropping into their hook curl, areas, and it's a little hard to catch, and it is, when you do have a quarterback that comes in that you maybe not, haven't had as many reps with, it's tough, and you got to kind of find the rhythm. Like my weakness was when lefty quarterbacks would come in, and you would have to figure out the different angle of the spiral, and the ball's coming at a different angle. So, it's just not enough reps with this quarterback, and the ball comes out differently than Brady Shields.
Here's McGlinch rolling and throwing. Radley trying to keep his feet in bounds. He did. It's a couple of catches on the drive for Radley, and McGlinch is moving South Lyon down the field.
Yeah, he's looking good. He's rolling with composure. He's throwing the ball in there. He's not hesitating. He's doing a really good job, and I know the coaches right now are going to look at this tomorrow and say, you know what, hey, he's doing a really good job, and he's got a bright future here at South Lyon.
Skyler, the sophomore, 5'8", 155. Right now he's playing like the biggest guy in the field. Throwing again. Setting it up to Radley. And this time he's tackled. That is a loss in the play for Barnes. Grant, I have to go back to something you just said, by the way. So it's not an urban myth. The spin from a lefty quarterback is actually different?
It is. And shout out Shane Morris, man. I remember one day at practice, I ran 3 shallow routes, a 5-yard and in. And I dropped like 3 in a row in practice, and Shane was just putting them on me, right on my body. Great throws, but sometimes it's just a little bit different with lefties, in different quarterbacks that you're not usually used to.
Ben Radley on this drive is a man possessed. That is his 3rd carry. Clearly Skyler feels comfortable throwing to him. Ben just made a couple of men miss, and it's going to be a shorter 3rd down here.
Yeah, Ben Radley was running like he was really mad at someone there, man. That looked fierce. That cornerback kind of was like, oh, I don't want to get in your way. But no, good run there, good catch and good run. And props to Skyler McGlinch. He's really throwing this thing, and he's coming in here, and you could tell he hasn't hung his head yet, right? He's having fun with it.
Rolling left again. As the pressure comes, not that time for Skyler. Down he goes. Isaiah Veach, another big play.
And it's late in the game. They're throwing the ball a lot here. So what's Waterford Mott going to do? They're going to run one of their best linebackers right through the middle and say, hey, go catch him. We know he's going to roll on the run, right? He's done it the past couple plays. And Isaiah Veach, when he gets to you, man, he throws you down. He had that horse collar earlier on Brady Shields, but that time he's able to get a true clean tackle there. And Isaiah Veach, he's another guy that stands out on tape when you watch Mott. I mean, he's just a physical specimen. He gets hands on the blockers, does a good job shedding. And then him and 5, Mike Bolin, do a good job of playing off of each other. So really good job there by Isaiah Veach, and a good dial up there by the DC of Waterford Mott.
4th down, 13. McGlinch dropping back. Wants to throw again. This time it's a pick. Aiden Bowe coming the other way. He's got real estate. Aiden wants to go to the house. There's nobody to beat. There's your cherry on top of the sundae. There is a flag back behind the play, so we see if it stands. And we see if all that running for Aiden wasn't for nothing. Flag is down in what would have been the secondary. And the saddest man in Metro Detroit, Aiden Bowe, because that pick 6 will not count.
Yeah, and he did a really good job there after the catch. And I kind of expected him to do this on offense today. He hasn't gotten as many catches on offense, but he says, you know what, hey, I'll make something happen on defense. He's a really good safety for them. He comes down, he hits hard, and he has a good ball awareness here. He just, the quarterback kind of airmails it over Jadrewski's head, and he just does the rest, and it turns into a kick return. Now, it doesn't count, but I bet you that ends up on Huddle on his highlight tape for sure. As it should.
Because no one can see the flag way behind the play.
No, exactly. You make a good play, whether it counts or not, it was still, he was running full speed, made a great play on the ball, and then turned it into 6 there. But unfortunately, it does count as a turnover. It just pushes them back.
Right, they got a block in the back in the return, yeah.
So, still turnover. Yeah. I thought it was going to be a PI. I thought, South Lyon had the ball back, but that was on me there. So, good play there by number 3, Aiden Bowe, and getting them the ball back.
Now all Mott's got to do is snap it a couple of more times and get this thing to the finish line. Win number 1 of the year for Mott is just around the corner. Caleb Osborne, it was fun to watch you play football tonight, man. All 6 touchdowns for the Corsairs accounted for by that outstanding senior quarterback. He throws for 2, rushes for 4. I think Toledo is getting a pretty darn good guy coming to their football program.
Yeah, they are. And some of the more impressive stuff is just what the coaches have said about his character, about what he does off the field and what kind of kid and person he is. It sounds like, and I haven't met him personally, but it sounds like he's even a better person than he is a player. And you always want that out of your leader and one of your captains on your team.
Caleb in the best formation in football, the victory formation. Mott going to get to 1-1 here. Nice little bounce back win after losing to Walled Lake Western last week. Going to Walled Lake Central next week. South Lyon to 1-1, and they go to Walled Lake Western next week. Don't have to snap it one more time. That's a happy group of Mott football players. That's a bunch that battled through a lot of adversity this week. Their field, they can no longer use the rest of the year. Had to practice at Clarkston. They got to play at Kettering. Their head coach told Elizabeth Kuhn at halftime, I just want the boys to have fun. When you got Caleb Osborne as your quarterback, you're going to have a lot of fun. Mott wins 40-21. And one of the best offenses in the state of Michigan lived up to it tonight. That's a South Lyon program that, to be blunt, is not used to losing games like this. That's only their 12th loss since the 2018 season. Won in a close one in week 1 over Walled Lake Northern, but now they drop a game here in the Lakes Valley Conference. A lot of these schools used to be in the KLAA. Of course, the KLAA still exists, but now a lot of those schools have morphed into the Lakes Valley Conference the last few years. A school that needs to be respected, and a quarterback who needs to be respected. Caleb Osborne standing by with Elizabeth Kuhn.
Hey guys, here with Caleb Osborne. A dominating performance tonight. You guys getting the win week 2. How does that one feel?
It felt good. We had to come back for our last game, so we told ourselves we was going to get the win, and we had to work. We just had to work. That's all it took.
Yeah, and absolutely. You had 6 touchdowns here today. How are you going to keep leading your team moving in, to the future?
Just being vocal. We got a young O-line, and I'm going to just keep pushing them because I know they got a lot of potential to be good D1 athletes, and I'm going to just keep pushing our O-line, and I trust in our wide receivers, so that's really it.
And you guys not able to play at home, but looking out and seeing the support from the community and the students, what does that mean to you?
Oh, yeah, I appreciate it. I've been here. My brother went here. I just always seen the atmosphere and stuff, so I've been loving it. So I already know they're going to come out and support. But, yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah.
Well, enjoy this one. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, guys, back to you.
All right, Liz, thank you. Fun to watch Caleb Osborne playing football. I got a feeling we're going to be watching a few more highlights of him down the stretch, and who knows, Waterford Mott in the midst of a football resurgence over the last handful of years. This could end up being one of the best football seasons that school has ever had. Thanks for joining us tonight, wherever you were on a Thursday night. For Liz, Grant, Chuck, John, everyone behind the scenes, Evan saying thanks for watching. And make sure to join us next week. We got to hop in the car and drive to the west side. Fun one coming next week. It'll be Lowell against East Grand Rapids. Joining us. Have a great rest of your Thursday and a great holiday weekend.
State Champs Game Time Live is delivered by Hungry Howie's Pizza, celebrating 50 years of flavor. State Champs Game Time Live is also brought to you by Lawrence Technological University. Be curious, make magic. The future of education begins at ltu.edu. Alta Equipment, Michigan's #1 construction equipment provider, proudly representing the industry's top brands. Get the right equipment for your project every time with Alta Equipment. The Construction Association of Michigan, the voice of the construction industry in Michigan. U.S. Navy, transform your life and become part of something bigger. Learn more about naval careers at Navy.com. And the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.